Hello and welcome to Ginger Prime, everyone. My name is Brian. We're also here live on Twitch. Top link in the description as well as pinned in the live chat. If you're joining us, we're in subscriber only mode. That's the free version, the free follow that you can use over here on YouTube. So feel free if you want to engage in the chat, ask any questions that you want. I'm going to bring in Chris here in a little bit on voice chat. We're going to be covering the live letter and more. Who knows? We're going to just kind of hang out, have some fun. I'm going to see if I can't fire at Final Fantasy XIV. I was a little bit late to start, namely because the stream and all that was really kind of struggling with both the game running and the stream reaction screens running. So I haven't seen that before. So, all right, PC troubleshooting all aside, welcome everybody to the next live letter. That should be starting soon. This is going to be also a live translation provided by Reddit. Reddit likes to go in and provide, obviously, the translation, and always go check them out. Give them some love for all the work that they do for this community. But without further ado, I'm going to bring Chris in. We're going to have some fun talking about the live letter. So, all right, let's see here. I think I should just be able to hit a button.
Let's jump in. So I was going to do leveling because we've got 50 minutes. So I think I want to go... Let's go to Pugilist. Let's get some Pugilist action going.
Pugilist? What's up, chat? What's going on?
No,
I am not recording a video, Colin. I was just doing an intro. That way anybody who's coming into the stream, maybe after it's all done and wants to know what happened, then they kind of get a context to what essentially the evening and the archived stream is. Mega Man 6 says, first time here and first time on a Final Fantasy stream. Hello, everyone. Well, hello. Welcome. All right, let me see if I can fire up the game. I was actually troubleshooting, Chris. I was like, okay, nothing's responding. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to start turning things off and turning them back on and see if I can get it working. And it looks like it's working right now.
All right. I've been doing great. So this delivers an attack with a potency of 270. 300 when it's executed from the rear, giggity. Can only be executed when in raptor form.
What's up, Aaron?
All right.
Julie also got me some Angry Orchard for
raptor
tonight.
Form. And then this is going to put me in coral form. Okay.
Let's see if I can fire up Final Fantasy and see if it'll let me play.
Let's do this. Let's learn. So weird seeing us at night? Well, it does happen. Live letters are usually the cause. Usually if we're streaming at like 3 in the morning or something like that, it's usually... Okay, so do I have to be...
What's up,
additional effect changes raptor form. Cannot use yet. Why not? Additional effect changes form to raptor. How do I know? Okay, I'm in raptor form. Oh, nice. Look at that.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, okay. And then I just keep pressing this over and over? I just keep pressing True Strike? Wow, this is...
How many skills do you have?
And then I lost... I have 3.
Yeah.
You actually have to hit the target. What are all these misses? Do I just keep missing a lot? Are monks bad? Guys, I think pugilists might be bad. Why are they missing so much? What are you doing? It's a striking dummy. It's just sitting there.
It's a level 80 dummy, probably.
Level 80 dummy. But shouldn't it scale down for me? There's a level 70 dummy.
No,
right,
no.
Come on, level 70 dummy.
Yeah, you might want to go hit like a level range dummy.
All right. Where am I supposed to find a level 15 dummy? All right. Screw it. We're doing it live. We're going into leveling roulette.
All right, so here's...
Oh, no, I can't because I'm not level 16.
Here's some announcements that were just made. I don't know if it's breaking. I'm probably not gonna be able to play because it's freaking out on me.
They did say that they plan on a multi-million investment in server infrastructure.
Yeah.
Because the player numbers are growing so quickly, but they won't make it in time for 6.0. They did announce, Brian, I don't know if you were there for that, how much you've covered, but they've crossed 23 million now already.
Oh yeah, I thought they announced that no, it was 22 million that they announced.
22.
And so they're 22. Over 23. Welcome to the
23.2
players. Welcome to a million new players.
Welcome
guys.
to a million new players, 250,000 of which you guaranteed like Asmongold. We appreciate you coming and hanging out.
And Pain Might says, hello, someone said that they're laughing at the NA servers because the WoW refugees are incoming. Is that true? Yes, that is true. A lot of, and we can also probably at this point just, call them Final Fantasy players now. Like, like how long do you want to own that label? I guess that's probably individually. It's like what wave? What ship were you on for the Exodus? And the question is it really an Exodus, or is it, a great, awesome vacation,
Yeah. I've been a lot of great, like, my wife and I went to Belize for our honeymoon. We had a great time. We had a wonderful time. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. One of the best times I've ever had. But there came a time when I had to go home. And so, like, for some people, there are people that are savage raiders in 14. And Ultimate got delayed. And so right now, they're playing something else. Why am I getting such terrible frame stutter? Are there that many people here in Ul'dah?
Oh, yeah. Dude, like, that's people. The servers are busting right now.
Incredible. All right. Welcome to Ul'dah.
Mysterio says they created a new FC, and it's 35% WoW refugees so far, and they're great people. They are. They're just like us. They like video games just like us. The walls that we have built to try and protect our garden.
Okay. Let's get out of this zone. Gross. That was awful. I haven't had lag like that since I was on a PS3. Ul'dah is literally the worst. Are we talking about lore preferences here, or a lag in particular thing? All right. Syncweaver actually has been putting out videos on playing 14 and going to WoW for the first time right now. They've been fascinating, like fascinating idea.
Has it been getting a lot of traction on his videos?
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of it is like, I want to know where these people are coming from. Like, they're talking about this, and like, I always have heard this game is great, and like, before I go say a bunch of stuff, like, I should play it. All right. I have full frames going to the stream, no dropped frames. So if you guys are getting dropped frames, just know it's what I was experiencing as well. That was awful. 10 of 10 would not recommend. Don't do it.
Oh, yeah.
Tried to say hi to Brian, but you couldn't get the messages because you subscribed to this channel while watching a video made for kids.
You have to unsubscribe and resubscribe, and I've reported it to YouTube, and so I have no idea what that's about. Because all of my videos are not made for kids. So, you literally, like, if you cannot chat...
Oh, like, this guy has 5 kids. He's kid friendly.
Oh yeah, exactly.
He's kid friendly.
So I would say if that is the case, if it doesn't let you chat, if you don't get notified of my videos, unsubscribe and then resubscribe because YouTube is messed up. But I'm glad that you're saying so here because it just confirms that I need to remind people.
So Brian and I produce, in many ways, very similar content, and how we were taught to title, tag, and thumbnail has been a learning journey together. And so it's inspired by a lot of the same lessons through the same 5 years of content creation. It is shocking how different, like, the way our 3 YouTube channels perform compared to each other and, like, what YouTube seems to think they are.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that it's just 3 of the same thing put out by the same people. No. Can I go in here? Oh. You would think. But it's not. It's not. I brought my kid to Sastasha.
The YouTube series. Well, and it's like occasionally, like if I was streaming during the day, like Maddie or Annie might come and hang out and whatnot. So maybe that's something that got flagged on some stream and whatnot. So I mean, I literally have gone and checked, and it's like there has been zero, videos marked as kids. So I'm like, I don't know, man.
What's the percentage of your population that it thinks so it separates out like population of viewers. So the fact that we see the same people commenting across all three channels, it's shocking how different they are. So what percentage do you know offhand of
I'll just go look it up.
Prime is?
I'll just go look it up right now.
So gaming kinda is 0.00% under 18.
So 13 to 17, it's 1.5%. 18 to 24 is 20%, and 25 to 34 is 51%, and 35 to 44 is 20%. So that's the bulk of it is from 18 to 44.
Huh.
So let me just see here. Is there any?
You can't be chatting with those 18-year-olds, Brian.
I don't want to.
You can't be doing it.
Unless we're talking about video games.
Can't be doing it. Has the live letter started? No.
No. We have a little bit. We're just hanging out.
They're just hanging out.
30 minutes from now.
That's what's in the bottom right, actually. If you're wondering. They're hanging out.
Bo's is dropping his age, saying 47 flex. Bo's, I think that's what we call the upper echelon, right there. You're like, what is it? That's one standard deviation out of the bell curve. Aaron also saying that they're a standard deviation over the bell curve. I think it is.
Watch something that's considered for kids prior. It thinks that the next channel you watch. So if Brian is getting recommended from like people that also like watching cartoons,
which is great because I love drawing cartoons. That's one of the things.
They watch a cartoon and they watch Brian, and it's like, we know.
Honestly,
Brian's making kids content.
Honestly,
he's teaching kids what they need to know about getting started in Outriders. We know.
Not Outriders.
We know.
Now, I would love to bring more like cartooning and animation, but I know how much work that is. So from a numbers perspective, like if you were like somebody was like, Brian, would you ever go full time? It's like no, but there would be a point where I would consider that I would take time and actually just like write and animate, cartoons or comics or something of that nature. Because that's something I just have a passion for. That's actually what, like, I even started posting some of my comics like on the community page on Ginger Prime. So, but I asked Julie for a new Wacom tablet so I can kind of get started, hopefully back into at least doing a little bit more digital art.
So what is a live letter? So a live letter, this is the 65th live letter upcoming. And a live letter is, simply put, a direct live broadcast, a communication from the developers of Final Fantasy XIV directly to their player base. That is the simple Wikipedia-style definition. What they ultimately translate to as a typical pattern, the majority of those, is a Japanese-only audio broadcast. So we operate off of live translations that are supported by the community. And they typically are supporting upcoming content for the game. So for a patch, we will traditionally get 2 live letters, a part 1 and a part 2. They will be numbered separately, but it's a part 1 and a part 2. The part 1 will go over all the things that are in the upcoming patch as a general overview. A lot of that stuff we know is predictable because Final Fantasy content is incredibly consistent. So the basis of the patches is kind of a predetermined pattern. And then we listen to it for the things that fall outside the pattern. In the second portion, now that we have some basic general details and some overviews and anything that catches us off guard, they will go over showing us some gameplay, showing us what about those features is different. If we got a Relic last expansion and we're getting a Relic this expansion, show us some gameplay. Show us why this Relic, you described a little of the differences in text form in part 1, but let's see some gameplay. Let's see some actual in-game footage showing how that's all going to work. Now, live letters themselves are also part 1, part 2. So what I just described is the part 1 of those two live letters. The second part is traditionally a more interview style format where they'll have a developer from the team or a developer from a collab events. Tonight will be it'll be somebody from the Nier team, the people that helped bring us the Nier crossover raid content this expansion. And then at the end of that, they'll kind of talk about some upcoming announcements and like marketing type stuff and all that usually. Sometimes live letters fall as part of an event, such as like E3 or FanFest or something like, or in this case, a 14-hour broadcast. Those feel a little bit different because they have other, like they're coming after something or before something. So the pacing of those can be a little different. There can be weird delays or intermissions or technical things. They're maybe being filmed in the LA studio or something like that. So sometimes the live letters being held on a stage. So sometimes they...
Hey, Lou, how you doing? I just put up a poll, guys. Feel free to vote. And let me know what you guys want, what new emote. We just hit a goal of 40 members on this channel, so thank you guys so much for the support. And looks like Reaper's right now in the lead. I'll bring Chris back in.
Swearing is required. Swearing is required. That's what's going to get you out of the adult content. You got to swear more.
I got to curse more. Got to curse more.
You got to curse more. I mean, I don't curse, but I wasn't labeled as kids content.
I know, so man. You gotta... Anyway, guys, if you're having problems communicating in the live chat, be sure that I think all you have to do is unsubscribe and resubscribe to fix it. Some people are have my channel labeled as kids content, so just know. And then Aaron joining at the Bahamut level, dude. Thank you so much for that support. Chris, I just hit a milestone over on YouTube, and it looks like Reaper is going to be the emote I add to the YouTube emotes. So
sweet.
Where can I find them? Because we got a bunch of new emotes that we've added over on Twitch. If you guys aren't following on Twitch, please do so.
Those were emailed to us.
Okay, I'll pull up the email.
Yep. But if you can't do it, then after, just remind me tomorrow. I can send you them all. I have all of them.
Oh yeah. I'm sure I can.
I can't do it today. I've got all my 3 monitors exactly the way I have, so I'm not going to open.
You're fine. Google has built a search engine, Chris.
All right.
And they just finally added search to Stadia, so it is what it is.
Will there be spoilers in stream? So I will not be doing any spoiler content on stream tonight. Typically, live letters are super spoiler sensitive, but they're super spoiler sensitive within the context of at this point, they assume that you have played the game before. And so when they say they're trying to not spoil what's coming in 6.0, that doesn't mean that they won't reference an NPC's name. And so if you're wondering if Game of Thrones style, will the cast of your partial playthrough of ARR be there at the end of 5.5, or will something happen, and you're trying to stay that protected, any current news runs that slight risk. Watching the trailer for Endwalker runs that slight risk if you're trying to kind of gauge that. So it just depends on how spoiler sensitive you are. This game is, in my opinion, on the scale of I'm just going to blurt out the ending to a movie all the way down to we're just going to operate on all question marks and I'm not going to tell you anything. It's a lot closer to the I'm not going to tell you things. Did I get the triple triad mount? No, I only have 125 cards. Not even close. No, I say that's fine.
I've been doing something, so Aaron, you'll be seeing your name also in upcoming videos on guides right now. I'm just kind of playing around with it, see how the community responds. And sometimes, what I did an experiment. I don't know if I talked about this publicly. I know I let Chris know. But I did an experiment where I took mid-roll ads off of videos, and it actually hurt the channel in terms of watch time, growth, and so much more. And I was like, well, all right, well, that was not what I was expecting. But I did it for a couple of months, and I was like, well, there we go. And so obviously I brought back mid-roll ads, but for as the membership has grown here, I've started pulling them mid-roll ads off of guides, because guides tend to be longer. They tend to be more focusing on the information, and I've been taking sponsors like Aaron and basically saying hey, you sponsored this guide, so no mid-roll ads for everybody. So just keep an eye out on that, Aaron. Thank you for your support. All right, let me see if I can.
I reached out to Brian, who
is
a great deal bigger than Gaming Kinda. I reached out to some channels that are a great deal bigger than me and Brian combined. I reached out to somebody that represents a number of channels and has some industry awareness. And that is why ads are the way they are on Gaming Kinda. So when people came in, they're like, I don't really like this.
All right.
I don't either. It wasn't about me. It was, hey, what's best for the channel? And then they told me, and then I did it. It really wasn't. it really had nothing to do with me. There's three parts to content creation. There's what I want, there's what the community wants, and then there's what the algorithm wants. And not all decisions are equal parts, all three things. And so when it comes to the way ads are distributed, Google has built a big giant brain that has learned where and when to place them, and trusting the brain has the best outcome.
The Vaping Ninja asks, when is the full lore video coming? I'm planning on, I've been working on it. So there's two parts, vaping. Part one, I want to do a Shadowbringer's story summary. And then part two is I want to do the kind of the like the complete story of Final Fantasy. Obviously, I don't know yet if I've decided I want to use the word complete yet or not. All I have to do is kind of figure out the timing of that, not necessarily for release, but in order to make sure that I have it all written. I have lots of clips already, but there's still plenty of work to be done. So it's a passion project. I literally just released a passion project today. So like after this, if you guys would lurk on my my New World class guide, that would be massive for me. I would appreciate that. Go ahead, Chris.
Speaking of passion, did you get a chance to watch Ethys's first post back?
He posted it. Ethys is posted. It has not shown
posted.
up. YouTube never notifies me of this crap.
It's like
YouTube.
43 minutes long, and you should watch the entire thing. If you're going to skip any section for time to try to get it down to 30 minutes, there's a middle section where he talks about food. You can skip 2 or 3 minutes of that, and it's just fun and really nice to listen to, and it's really pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
But everything before and after that is like important that you're aware of if you care for Ethys and his content, and it means a lot going forward for his content.
Okay, I'll make sure I go give it a check.
So,
appreciate it.
Man, Limsa's laggy too. Capital cities. I don't play in evenings, guys. I play weekdays, and weekdays are lag delightful. Like none, zero lag, zero. All right, live letter starts in 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And then we're doing this.
There's the lunar whale. I'm sorry, I'm just looking for the.
This is rough.
The Reaper.
I have a Zoom call and OBS. Not my computer. So I'm telling you, like, I'm not dropping frames. I've dropped to 58 frames a second instead of 60. That's what I'm broadcasting at. So, but maybe. I am streaming a full res Twitch video, and I'm streaming a full res Discord call, and I'm streaming the game, and I'm broadcasting all that, but it should be fine. But maybe it's not. How do I get here? Can I? Yeah, I want to go inside.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see here. Let's see if it's refreshed. See if it's been approved yet.
But what's weird is like some zones are lagging and some zones aren't. So.
Let me refresh this and see if I've got my Reaper. There we go. Yes.
Lower Lenosha.
Lisa Lemenza. And thanks, guys, for the 22 likes. Here on YouTube, liking the video and or the stream is a great way to help share it out, essentially, with on the YouTube side of things.
Look at all these people on their stream. That's amazing.
The challenge with lore videos, especially within the 14 community as it has existed currently, is that as much as the community wants it, there hasn't been enough demand to sustain it. So when I talk about a passion project, like doing the store video, videos, like the story videos, like those are something that I'm really glad that exist. But if I was looking at it for time, especially like if I was just to sit down and talk about Asmongold again, which is essentially not my plan, but like Chris said, like the content creation process is what I want to make, what the community wants me to make, and then what the algorithm wants me to make. And like trying to find that balance. The reason why you see like the lore side come in and then come in and dip out is it isn't sustainable for the sheer amount of time when, you know, somebody like worked a game or Ginger Prime or Gaming Kinda, you know, just to kind of keep it all in, you know, in house rather than like, I'm not calling any content creators out of this, but I'll just kind of throw us all in the bus when it's easier for us to sit down and just talk about like what's going on in the game or talk about the news. Like
that's not necessarily selfish based though.
It's not selfish based.
Like imagine you want to help players, right?
Yeah.
And so you know that your channel gives you access to work to game 66,000 or whatever subscribers. And you know that we have hundreds of comments coming in asking for help on things, asking questions, asking for that.
Well,
Would you rather put out a guide
right now
that is going to have 5,000 people say, thank you for teaching me something about Summoner or Black Mage?
Correct.
Or would you rather put out a lore summary that's going to get 500 people say thank you, and then 50 people come in and say, this popped into my feed and you spoiled it for me.
Yeah.
Or you did this wrong. So, like, which would you rather? You can impact substantially more people, spend substantially less time doing it, which means you can already start working on the next thing that's going to help people, and you get less pushback. Yeah. So, like, lore videos are just, they have to be passion. Superman, thanks for the support. Thanks for Prime sub. Sorry, go on, Brian.
No, so, like, that's, I actually have a huge love of the lore. I absolutely do. I have only the one lore book. Julie was supposed to get me the second lore book, but it was sold out. So maybe, who knows? Maybe she's got that for me for Christmas. I mean, my birthday's coming up this month, and so like that's actually something that I would love to do. The only way, I mean, and we've talked about this. One of the big reasons why, like, we want more content creators is that we think that can also help bring in more players to the game, and I think at some point there will be a big enough and a hungry enough community that wants that content that makes it viable, but we haven't hit that point yet in the size of the community that also wants to watch that content. Because as opposed to something like Destiny, or maybe sometimes in WoW's case, where maybe current WoW is a little bit different, but in like that case where it's like you have to kind of piece a lot of the story together from all of these other pieces so that there is actually a content creator who comes in and does that work and then delivers that to the community who's hungry for it, because it doesn't necessarily
it's not easy.
It's not easy, but it's also not as personal. Right. Final Fantasy XIV story for us is so personal. And the reason why we know it's personal is because people show up for Sprout streams, but they don't show up for current story content. They want to experience it for themselves. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm not advocating for that to change. But whenever somebody comes into the game, like that, Asmongold's shocked that 200,000 people want to watch him. Like that's like the only thing that was shocking is I guess too low, but I'm not surprised by the number, because we want to watch people experience what we've experienced. So we don't want to ruin that. So the lore videos have to be very careful. They have to be incredibly well crafted. And then you have to have somebody who's willing to watch, because at some point, like like Chris said, I've got 5 guides literally from today that I've seen in comments saying, hey, Brian, like I am really struggling with this. And the thing is I have the answer. So I answer the question for them. But what I gain from that comment is I know that there are other people who haven't left me that question, haven't left me that comment. So I go, okay, I'm going to have to prioritize that guide.
So like, I love watching lore. I wish there was a 14 playlist for it. Have you watched Lucron? Lucron's posting a ton on lore.
Yeah.
Like there are people posting on lore, and when you go look at their view totals, a Zeppla video on how to make Gil, even a Gaming Kinda video on how to make Gil, or any video mentioning Asmongold gets 10 times the viewership as a lore video. And the YouTube algorithm is trying to decide when you search Final Fantasy XIV, what are you most likely going to like? And so the algorithm is just operating off of what it knows, and it groups all 14 content relatively together outside of a handful of search terms. And so the lore videos get hidden, and it's kind of like PvP in 14, where once it's hidden, it stays hidden. And so it's just really hard. FS Asher has been a lore guy. You know, there has been a number of lore people, and they're not easy to find.
At the Satchler Ninja, let me see here. See if I can get you a link to his channel. All right, YouTube.
TLER on his new post, like, FS Asher took a full-time job, a full-time position at a company, and so, like, his amount of lore content, people have been like, well, he's not publishing that much. He's going to continue doing it as a passion thing, but, like, the downside of that is the amount of free time you have to do a passion thing does not rival.
You're going to want to retire at some point. Like there's so many things that, like, it's, you know, especially as, like, as you get into these things, you're like, okay, you know, there's real practicalities that need to be considered. And it's like, so there's the link, Kelsey, for Ethos.
What way?
Well, and Mysterio, like, that's the community growth is exciting because that is going to become more of a possibility for creators to do that kind of thing, to really kind of make content, because there are going to be more people who want that content or are excited about that content. So that's something that you'll see happen over the course as Final Fantasy XIV grows to 30 million players worldwide, as they add in the Oceanic Data Center, etc. Like, that is going to become more and more a possibility for Final Fantasy creators. But yeah.
I think Final Fantasy XIV has more daily active players than Destiny, and My Name is Bife gets more views than any lore creator I know of, because it's hard to piece together the lore. Final Fantasy XIV is a substantially larger community than Warhammer, and Warhammer lore videos can get substantially more views. It's that the lore in 14 is so accessible that you can afford to try to avoid spoilers, because it's not hard to find. It's literally required, whether you like lore or not, to do the vast majority of it. Like, so it's accessible. Your character is a centerpiece in it. It is delivered right to you about you.
You're the key central figure in the story.
So like, it's, you know, it's going and seeing a movie and having a friend next to you tell you about what's happening on screen when it's right in front of you. You're just not going to go to movies with that friend anymore. As opposed to, if you go see a movie that doesn't have subtitles that's in another language, you're going to need some help.
Yeah. Oakland says, Bife is fantastic. I had to stop watching him because I wanted to get away from Destiny 2, but I miss him. I've been, I think for me...
He just got married.
Oh, Bife did?
Uh-huh.
I miss that, man. That's congrats to him.
I'm so much more in the loop with you than you. What are you doing? Spending time with your kids and having a job?
Spending a lot of time with my kids, and I don't regret that at all.
Being an involved father and husband. Like,
I have been working with the girls on
swimming.
Yeah, I've been working with the girls on swimming, on bike riding. I got Maddie, and she's getting really good on a scooter. Actually, like we went from 3 wheels to 2 wheels for her. So, and she got tall enough where she actually was able to ride in the truck without a booster seat. So she's growing like a freaking weed, dude. And it's like, yeah, absolutely, I'm spending time with my kids. Because I would love at some point for Maddie and me to be like, let's stream, let's play some Final Fantasy. You know, I'm assuming 14, but we could call it 17 just to kind of like get the, you know, conspiracy theories going. You only get one shot.
Dude, ARR capital cities are not, like, it's just these cities. Every other zone I'm in runs like a dream. This is a disaster.
I've been wanting to see those starting cities get brought and merged back into one. But if you're telling me they're chugging along,
oh no, you do not.
Yeah.
This is insane. Like, this is PS3 days. When I first played the game, you would have days like this.
Mysterio says, just retire and become a deadbeat dad. That's what you should do. Sage advice. The interesting thing is like, I know some deadbeat dads. You know, like there's certain, like, you know, everybody's got people in your family. You're all just like, all right, like that's one side of the aspects of this family. And so it's like Julie will come back and it's like, you know, and she's like, I'm so thankful for you. Cause it's like, if the bar that you're setting is that I provide and I don't run out on you like every other week, and I don't go buy, one guy bought like a $60,000 truck and he doesn't have a job. It's like, I would like a new truck, but my truck's like, I actually just upgraded from a 21-year-old truck to to a 16-year-old truck, and I'm riding smooth, baby.
They got so much better as I got away from the Aetheryte. It's literally all the new players coming into Limsa for the first time.
Welcome to Final Fantasy.
Oh, I don't need it to get worse to know that this is
I'm
bad.
sorry to hear that, Aaron. That's a great way to reach out to the world. Absolutely, dude.
All right, here we go. I don't actually want literally any of this.
Yeah, a car is definitely is the bad investment. That's why I buy used cars and I buy them in cash. But I'm not gonna lie. Like, I would love a new truck. Like, if ever it comes to a point, and we do the Dave Ramsey thing, but if ever it comes to a point where I can just kind of walk into a dealership, pick out a new truck in cash, and literally be like, I don't think this will be anytime soon. Maybe when it's like time for retirement, it's like I'm gonna feel pretty good. I might feel bad about writing that check, but at the end of the day, like, it will be nice to be like, wow, like this has the new car smell. You know, I think people overpay obviously for that smell, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
All right, we're gonna see if I don't have to run all the way there. I'm gonna try to run to an Aetheryte and see if I can.
Vincent, I think right now the servers are just getting slammed by more and more new players.
Look at all these sprouts. Sprout.
They said that they're making significant investments because player is surging. Player base is surging right now.
Like, look at them all.
Julie only left me 2 of these.
This is the fishing trainer. Sprout.
Drink responsibility. But Julie got me some Angry Orchard hard fruit cider. I might Postmate some more of this stuff. This is freaking delicious. I haven't had a drink since last July, by the way. At least that I remember. Like I was drinking a little bit too much early days in the pandemic, trying to get through the news and whatnot. And then it's like I kind of hit a point where I was like, I gotta stop drinking. So I don't think I haven't had a drink in a while.
Scene change.
So, anyway, this is really
about to
good.
go live. 5 minutes.
Yay!
5 minutes. Okay, in a little over 10 minutes, we'll begin. Okay, so this was a couple minutes ago. We'll begin our unofficial translation of the 65th live letter. So they're going to shut reactions off in the Discord. When the community team interacts with each other, they usually do not use. They just use E for short or A to refer to a specific number for their own division. XX from A or XX from E for America or for Europe. They don't use SEA or SEE. They just use E or A. Interesting. We're learning.
Makes sense.
You're genuinely concerned about whether servers will buckle when Endwalker hits. So the reason we had data center split prior to the last expansion was to try to anticipate this. Prior to that, the launch of Stormblood was So if 1.0 was a precedented disaster, an unprecedented disaster, the launch of Stormblood was a majority mitigated disaster. Like it was heavily scaled back, but it was a tank that used all their cooldowns. There were rough aspects to Stormblood's launch, which Shadowbringers was smooth as butter. Oh, so good. So good. BFA was a smooth launch for me. Shadowlands was a smooth launch, and I was super nervous. I was like, is 14 going to keep up with the precedent that's being set here? And the answer is wholeheartedly yes. Shadowlands was, Shadowbringers was amazing.
Yeah, the reason their Aetheryte looks so funky is because that's in Thapnir. So if you guys look at the colors of the art, it's gorgeous art, right? So we do know that there might be some 6.0 stuff, which in Yoshi P fashion means that there's going to be some 6.0 stuff, but it's not going to be job trailer. It's not going to be, the
he
detail.
Said specifically what it would be.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and recap it for everybody
He
here.
said that they would be going over more detail about the stat squish and belt removal.
Hot diggity dog.
But yes, job changes come with the job action trailer about a month out from the expansion, coming off the media tour. Historically, I don't see any reason for that to be different this time around.
So yeah, they just announced they went from 22 million to 23 million, so another million players in a month-ish, maybe a month and a half. And their goal is to get to 30. I've been thinking this whole time they definitely needed to add like an Xbox and other platforms to get to that goal, which I still think is coming, but not anytime soon, apparently. And but still at this rate, with the fact that we're just seeing so much growth within the 14 community right now, it's not just refreshing and exciting. I think it's essentially kind of like going to kind of somewhat maybe balance the scales a little bit and hopefully bring some healing within the MMORPG community. And by healing, I mean kind of really challenging these tribal aspects that people are currently still hold on to as a minority of the player base. But they're vocal, but eventually they're going to get tired of kicking sand, and they're going to be like, oh, I guess it's fine.
Just to be clear on the 30 million number, that's not 30 million active players. That's 30 million players at some point across the game's history. I think WoW's equivalent calculated number is like 115 million. So obviously there's not 115 million playing WoW right now.
A lot of people will use that number and say 30 million active subscribers. Blah, blah, blah.
No.
Which only
30 million people
them.
At some point have connected a credit card with their account.
Right, which at some point also, that's one of the things that we've actively tried to educate people on, because people will assume that, and then they'll get mad that we only get one dungeon per patch. They're like, geez Louise, you got 30 million subscribers and we can only get X? It's like you're thinking of the numbers wrong. The numbers go up and down. No company is releasing their active subscriber numbers. And no one will, because what happens is that people worry, and so they don't go and invest their time into the game, because you don't want, because an MMO isn't just a game. It's a community. It's a service. I think Josh Strife Hayes kind of laid that out in a very beautiful way. You reacted to his video today, right?
I did.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to.
I need to clip it and put it over on because I forgot to hit record, so I need to clip it and put it over on our reaction channel.
Well, there you go.
I tagged it, and I also grabbed a clip from yesterday. I wanted to grab.
That'd be great. It's one of the things that we have the channel.
Walker's Alley.
Yes. We should use it.
It was,
especially
I
when
wanted to do it before I went
content.
live, but I'm only.
You're only human.
I'm only 9 hours into my workday so far.
Right. Exactly.
Not everything's done yet.
Man, if you Brian, what superpower do you want? I want to clone
There's
myself.
people who I see people praising creators for not being full time, but then I see comments on my channel saying I actively dislike work to gaming kinda and Ginger Prime, and I've hit, which is fine, and I've hit ignore. Can somebody help me ignore these guys? And the reason that we're still showing up is that they're searching 14, they're watching hours of 14 content, and the content creator community is not large enough, and so eventually they get far enough down the list that YouTube's like, okay, now I have to start recommending from all the people you don't like as well, because you've just hit that far down in your list. And somebody who is not full-time that puts out 2 videos a month, that's 20, maybe 40 minutes. Brian and I, between Twitch and all of our YouTube channels, are producing, I think I did the math today, I think it's just over 200 hours of content a month. At some point, you're going to run into us just because there's not enough other people. And that's why we're always asking for more people. We don't want to be putting you in that position.
100%. Because
if you don't want to watch us,
like, Brian, you just want to be liked. It's not at all.
Just here we go.
Like whatever.
Here comes the trailer.
The 6.0 trailer?
Looks like it.
Give the volume. This isn't 6.0.
What is this?
Oh my gosh, what's happening?
What is this?
What's going on? This is great. Okay.
Come on. Maybe it's my ISP.
This is... What's happening?
What is happening?
This is awesome.
What is this?
He's a paladin.
Is this our new benchmark? Like the VR benchmark from last time?
I wonder if this is the benchmark.
That's a good call. Good call. This could be our new benchmark. Oh, man.
So
this could be our new benchmark.
He's leading Garlands?
Is that the opening trailer? Like when you boot up the game?
No.
Official benchmark. Money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boom, baby.
All right. How do fountains work, guys? How do fountains work?
Chris, you're so salty over that.
Oh, man.
People try to figure that out. You're like, it's not that hard, guys. And the answer is, that even if it was, magic.
We'll talk about what a benchmark is in a minute.
Yeah. Holy crap.
We got all night.
To the yeah, boys.
We had a benchmark last time. You got to create your Viera or Roth.
I bet we're going to see some... I wonder if we'll see the Reaper limit break, because sometimes that usually is shown. Guys, we're going to get some stuff here today.
Here, I'll tell you. So a benchmark is you'll get to play this on your computer to see how the game's going to look based on your specs. And last time they let us create the new races on it to run it through. And then you get to save your preferences so that when you got into the character creation screen when the expansion launched, you had them.
So here's some battle stuff. Yes!
Guys, I'm sorry about the quality. I've got too many things running. I think it's only like 720. But you're gonna enjoy this.
Look at the freaking samurai! So we're seeing new skills right now, boys and girls.
Did you see? What is all of that?
These are new skills. Know what I'm looking at. These are new skills. Oh, this is great! Holy yeah! Oh, hell yeah!
Out of here!
Look at these enemies. There's the gunbreaker and the machinist and the red mage. Are we gonna see summoner? Where's my summoner? Oh, dude, if they freaking show, like, summoner, like, calling full-on Ifrit, or, like, Ifrit, like, Bahamut kind of style, let's freaking go.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
Makes Bozja look like Ishgard Restoration. Chill content. What is happening?
But I like how we're all united. Like, it's got us, and we're fighting whatever this,
All right, Sage. What do you got?
Sage, baby.
Sage? Is that a mass rest?
Yes. That was a mass rest.
All right, there's our paladin shield. We already have that ability now.
Yes, but it still looks amazing.
Oh, it's a good-looking ability. I think part of the reason I'm getting so much lag is I'm like standing in the world's most populated. I'm standing in Hawker's Alley right now.
Oh my gosh, guys. I did not expect this, and this has made my day.
Is that our collector's edition mount? Yeah, that's our collector's edition mount. Okay. That's not.
Yoshi P, you did it again, you son of a bitch. Is that Vanat, the dragon?
There's our mining, our fisher, our botanist.
They're still here, guys. We're not deleting any of these jobs.
You think maybe they're getting some Thabnarian onions from Thabnar?
Oh, look how beautiful the zone is. This looks so much better than what they showed us at FanFest.
Why did you fly in? There was an Aetheryte right there. Just teleport, dude. Come on, broski.
Broski.
Look at this noob. Flying. There's the Shadowbringers Collector's Edition, Ishgard Restoration mount, Ixion, Stormblood Collector's mount.
There's a giant shark. Hell yeah. Dragon time. Baby. Thanks for the 42 likes, guys, by the way. I really appreciate it.
The shark mount from Fishing Raid on the far right.
Yeah.
The purple bird we got through, I think, Stormblood.
We're going to the towers.
Now, I think they showed this to us as a... Man, I wish the quality was higher. I'm sorry about being in Hawker's Alley. I think that's what's making it worse. Dude.
Oh, yeah. I'm loving these new skills, dude.
Take the game out of the screen? Yeah, that's fair. How do I do that?
Oh, freaking Reaper!
There.
Oh, Dickum! Let's go!
Yes! Now that's a scythe, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh. Oh, box shield, baby.
Time action event, anybody? Who wants to push their X button? Who wants to do it?
Well, I hope we get
some... this better not just be a dungeon. This better not just be a dungeon.
Oh my gosh. Pre-order the latest expansion available November 23rd. Over 22 million adventurers. Are they releasing the benchmark?
Yeah, we can log out of.
We need to go through that. We need to go through that.
We can log out at 14. I'm just gonna exit the whole game.
All right, guys.
See if I can
As it
stream
goes,
audio.
this will be obviously in Japanese, and we've got the live translation up. But you can go watch it for yourself if you don't want our commentary, and we will talk over them.
We will,
because we do not speak Japanese, but we do have the live translation up, so we'll be covering
that immediately improved quality. It's 14. Let me just jack it all the way up. There we go. There's some 1080p goodness.
Guys, what was the best thing from that trailer, guys? I gotta know. Sound off in chat, please. Whew.
Dude.
Foxclaw, man.
Dude, that was epic. That was epic. That was monstrous. I assume they're going to put a link up at some point.
Yeah, I think we'll get some information on that. If nothing else, they'll get. If they're going to show us,
benchmark it up, man.
If they're showing us the benchmark, they're going to give us, I would assume, a date, at least of when we can download it for ourselves. But we're going to have to play that back. We're going to have to analyze the crap out of that.
Let me actually, let's see, real quick, just because let me just save that clip, just so it's there. Okay. Minimize. Okay. Got it. Just wanted to grab a clip.
Got it.
We can't, there we go. We started the live letter with some pretty images. That's what he says, some pretty images. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? You think? Is that the largest understatement of the evening? And Yoshi says, yes, we prepared the benchmark software as always, so this time we decided to stream it without mentioning it beforehand.
I like that. That gives us a lot of things to be excited about. Hands down.
So, when is that available for download? When can I run it? I want to run it. Guys, we will probably run that during the reaction 2-hour portion of stream at the start of every stream, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will probably be reacting to that when that goes live.
And they're also going to upload that video itself to YouTube in 4K at 60 frames a second.
That way, even if your hardware can't benchmark that high, you can go watch it in maximum goodness. Okay. Yoshi said that the software is done. He said no to showing a few of the abilities, though.
What they did show looks so freaking good.
All right. That's good. Good.
Okay, they're okay. Available from July 11th. So that's only a couple days from now.
Cool. We will make it available for download tomorrow. So that's because it's already.
Yeah, I guess
it's already the 10th so. There.
Got it.
So, by tomorrow he means Sunday, just translated. So, we are not yet in tomorrow. Japan has already made it into tomorrow. So, our tomorrow is not for another 2 hours and 20 minutes. But we'll watch it. We'll watch it. YouTube's already up. Thank you. That's amazing.
Damn time travelers. Oh man, I'm so excited. Cass says, I guess it's time to re-download and play through the story again.
Okay, the benchmark thing's already up, so when we get to a break, we'll watch it. So we'll do it.
Yeah, it's actually a great time for a break.
No Streamlabs donation option. I have no idea.
It's there.
I thought we fixed that.
It's under Twitch. It's there. It's linked.
I think what somebody said when they were clicking the other day, the link broke. Should still work. I think we have all notifications turned off or down, so it might appear, but
let's see here.
I'll still see it, and I appreciate you. I believe I'll still see it. I don't have my Twitch overlay up, so maybe. Let me see. I think I can just open that here.
Maybe it did break. Weird.
Yeah. Things break. I don't know. Creator dashboard. Stream manager's up. Discord's up. Okay, now I can see everything. What's this posture check from Mione 54 minutes ago? I don't know why I didn't see that. All right. We changed one thing in the benchmark. So far, we put out the score as a number. The number required to get extremely high is higher now. I wonder if that's out of the PS5 version and all that. I wonder if they've really dialed that up.
Oh,
that's
man.
really exciting.
Yeah.
Yoshi P is definitely a rock star. Wholeheartedly. And it shocks me that he runs a game officially that you can only wear one ring on your left hand and on your right hand when he wears more than that on either hand. So what was 7,000 points before is 15,000 now. I'm not exactly sure if that was the extremely high grade. Yes, you'll be able to create the male Viera character creator as part of the benchmark.
Great.
So that's how they rolled out Viera and Rothgar last time, is we could create those, and then I think there was a way to save those, right?
Yeah.
So you got to build your Roth or your Viera. I think that's how that was. I wasn't planning on changing, so I just explored it and had fun, and that was that. His mage has 15 ring slots. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Cool. All right, this should be working.
So for those of you planning to Viera over, awesome. First part of the live letter will be a summary of the 6.0 updates. Second part will have the Nier creator as a guest, coming on to answer questions about kind of that whole process. We did have a massive Nier crossover event, getting all three of our 24-man raid parts and all their story kind of tied to Nier this expansion. So it's a chance to sit down with them and kind of talk about that process. For tank and melee, just give us knuckle dusters and brass knuckles. Oh, imagine that. And they took up a number of slots, so you just had like 10 slots and you could equip them. So good. That'd be amazing.
You, appreciate the support, man. The costume is easily S tier. That's actually what you got to do for your weekly turn-in for fashion show this week. Dress like Foxclaw.
All right, so the first part of this live letter is going to be a summary of all of the 6.0 updates we've gotten up to this point. They have said, once again, for anybody just tuning in, that don't expect a ton of new 6.0 news, but they would be talking in more detail about the stat squish that we are getting, as well as the belt deletion process, because we are getting rid of belts so that we can have those 35 armory slots to apply 15 of them to our primary weapons and 15 to our rings to expand our armory chest. Save another 5, I assume, for soulstones, unless they are going to have, unless they're going to get rid of those as well in some time in the future. Because we only have 21 now, and as of next expansion, you'll be able to get, what is it, 23 or 24 total? So, like, you're going to be over the top. Because I think you can fill it already.
Yeah.
And you're getting Sage and Reaper added.
It's the 11th. I doubt that they'll have one for the PS5 because they're all built the same. So I think essentially you could watch the video itself, because essentially the other side of the benchmark is just to kind of let players know, will your computer run this game, and then at what settings.
If they're going to get rid of Soulstones, how are they going to... I think that is... Are they going to get separate Summoner and Scholar? I think that's why they haven't gotten rid of Soulstones. I think Summoner and Scholar are holding us back. I think that's what, in my opinion, that's what's holding us back. Fido's already got a maxed out Soulstone bad. Unfortunately for Fido, you're not going to be allowed to play Sage or Reaper. That's just the rule. You going to take 2 of those crafter ones and just store them in a Chocobo saddlebag?
Yeah, I'm interested, because when belts go, that's going to be great. Like, keep it simple. Get those slots. Get those weapon slots.
All right. New stories. We are now looking at the 6.0 summary, potentially going into a little more detail. As they already stated, this is going to be the end of the Hydaelyn Zodiark story. Everything we have been building towards through Realm Reborn, Heaven's Word, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers is coming to an end. This is not an end to Final Fantasy XIV. This is an end to the story. So the exact quote is here, as already stated. This is going to be an end of the Hydaelyn Zodiark story. End of quote. This is the finale for years in the making. When asked in a recent interview if this was meant to be a new on-ramp for new players so that they could skip past this, he actually said no, quite the opposite. He viewed the fact that there is a known finale and a known total thing as a chance, much like a TV show, to say, okay, now this is something that I'm not worried about it continuing to leave me in the dust. And this is an invitation to come in and experience it all the way through. This is meant to help new players feel more welcome going into a Realm Reborn, knowing that it is building towards something finite.
Right.
This will have the most story quests of any expansion so far, the most cutscenes, the most voice scenes. This is the biggest volume so far.
Because 6.0 itself, not 6.3, not 6.2, or 6.1, 6.0, when we beat the expansion, that is that. And 6.1 begins something new.
Fear the Legend wants to know what to level. From a story's perspective, I think Shadowbringers, in my opinion, was written to be enjoyed as a warrior more than a paladin. I think it was written to be written as a warrior. And thankfully for you, warrior is also the best class in the game. Now, if you want to know how serious I am about that, Brian made a tier list a while back, seriously looking at kind of his opinion of how the jobs did. And I put out my response. And effectively, Warrior is the best in all the things. Now, they just said that Old Sherland will be equivalent to Crystarium in 5.0, and the Rods at Han will be our Yulmore. Every expansion, we get a primary city and a secondary city. Your primary city gets things like the market board. It's where our crafters and gathering, and like it's where the role quest took place this time around. Your secondary city is where we go to do things like swap out our tombstone gear and turn in things like scripts and all that. So it ends up being that kind of secondary thing. I assumed when they showed us to it that the kind of Yulmore-esque looking city would be our secondary, and the How Do Fountains Work would be our main city, and that's just been confirmed here. Some of these are going to be built underground. I was scared that Yoshida would leak stuff earlier in the greeting video.
Oh man, that's going to be so nice. Especially with it like Shadowbringers, with how it introduced the zones and things of that nature, going into Endwalker, kind of bringing this back, going to Thavnir. I think it's going to be huge. Charlane's going to be huge. Oh, dude, abso-freaking-lutely. Also, you don't have to worry about spoilers here. Everything should be pretty straightforward.
I mean, you're going to hear names. You're going to see some screenshots, but we're not going to be talking about why we're going to these places. Just the fact that we are. So if you really won't know, we'll if you see a character that looks familiar, but the Sage and Reaper models here, for example, those aren't anybody that I know.
This is interesting. Go ahead and read it. Yeah, I'll let you take it.
Okay. So, will Garlemald be the next restoration is a comment we've gotten a lot. Remember this expansion, guys, we rebuilt, with the Ishgard restoration, we rebuilt a city as crafter and gatherer content. You don't have access to it until you've made it far enough in the story to unlock the city that we rebuild. Warrior of Lights are nice, and so when they see a broken city, they want to help rebuild it.
Maybe, I guess.
There's not an answer. That's just him saying, we got asked a lot, which is not actually an answer. We will get 2 new jobs, and of course we will explain why one of our story characters will become a sage. Every time we get new jobs, they kind of find a way to justify why that one comes out. So there's been a lot of questions why, when we see the new sage job in the trailer, why would a character go become a sage? There is some known facts about that, especially to the population that's gone all the way through the story, but even before that. It'll be interesting to see how that's really truly addressed, because as of 5.55, we don't have any sages helping us out. So that's going to be something they're going to have to address. And we will have to see why a friend of ours will become a Reaper. He was using he said friend. He was using a crazy looking ability at the end of the benchmark we showed. Take a closer look when you download the benchmark. I believe I did. I believe I shouted when I saw it.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that at the break in the live letter. Gotta step through that again.
showing off some new dungeons. We are not getting a mythical style content this expansion. So any part of dungeons, if there is anything even resembling 4 or smaller man hard PvE content, it will be tied to deep dungeon. If we get deep dungeon this expansion, they are looking at a way to bring it into the content. They have not confirmed we're getting it. Pandemonium. This is going to be our high end raid, our raid series.
Yes.
So this is going to be our next Eden. That does mean I assume we're going to be doing P1 through 12. Is that a good guess? So for any new players that wonder what E1 through 12 is, that stands for Eden, which is the name of our Shadowbringers raid series. And so we number off our raids with an initial, followed by the letter. We get them in chunks of 4. So 1 through 4, 5 through 8, and 9 through 12. We get them on the even numbered patches. Is that right? So we get them with 0.0, 0.2, 0.4. And then we get Alliance raids with 0.1, 0.3, 0.5, which is our 24-man. Which will be Myths of the Realm.
Yeah. Hail to the
yeah, they put a lot of new... they hope that we enjoy the new dungeons. They put a lot of effort into their design. Of course, you'll be able to enter them with Explorer mode at some point later on. Keep in mind, Explorer mode is our G-pose type mode where you can run in and be on mounts, and you have parasols and use abilities to get really cool screenshots inside the dungeons if you want. He did say the normal and savage modes will be released with the 2 weeks in between. So get ready for the raid at Christmas. So they are confirming that. Obviously, for people doing the math, they're like, okay, with November 23rd being the official launch, and then we delay 2 weeks, and then wait a second. And so they will follow the usual schedule. I know for a lot of people that's something that for top end world first raiders, it's good to tell your family that you're not going to see them at Thanksgiving or Christmas. You're feeling a little bit of a sniffle, a little bit of cold. You're not sure you're going to make it.
Got some things to do. And Qualrock says, totally squealed. So yeah, the Myths of the Realm confirmed for patch 6.1.
So yeah, just tell your family you're going to be peeing. You're going to be... You've got some savage peeing to do. 1 through 4. There you go. I don't know what anything you're saying means.
What's interesting
now remember,
Myths
of the Realm will not be here till 6.1.
Right. But Pandemonium will be in 6.0 2 weeks after release. So that's not 2 weeks after the 19th. That's 2 weeks after the 23rd. And then 2 weeks after that, so 4 weeks from the 23rd of November, that's when typically the Savage version is going to be released. Put an asterisk on that, put a feather in your cap for that, namely because you also have holidays, you still have COVID restrictions and things like that are hitting Japan. So there might be some, extraneous circumstances that they have to adjust to. But all in all, I think people are going to be really pleased.
Luke, thanks for sharing Prime with us. Fluffy Dogs, Brian, how do I see the does the stream manager not grab? There it is. Floppy Dogs donating $50. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Floppy Dogs.
Epic. These new Beast Tribes, we'd seen these screenshots before, so this is new if you haven't been following along. But we have seen this epicness.
That it is, Reven. That is Anima.
Cool. Now remember that while Final Fantasy original content may be the description of things like Pandemonium and Myths of the Realm, it is not uncommon for Final Fantasy XIV to build in Final Fantasy XIV original content that pays tribute and fan service to the fact that it is part of the Final Fantasy franchise as a whole. So oftentimes people know what it is, and to any new players, they're like, wait, is that a spoiler? Are you telling me something? No, they're not necessarily telling you something that we should know from 14 lore. They might literally recognize from other games. So I know that as we go to places like the Moon and things like that, there's people who already have feelings for what's going to happen there, not because 14, but because of other games.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that Paladin. Look at that goody two-shoes, using your gauge to not put damage downrange. Come on. Come on. New gear and crafting recipes. What do we got? What do we got?
The Magus sisters have been, they were from Final Fantasy IV. I'm absolutely thrilled that they're coming in. But these ones will be different. And then they also said a lot of people are speculating about Anima. And then he's looking at them and is very fascinated by their theories.
Yoshi P has 253 hours reserved in his upcoming schedule just for the first check on things. Now, I believe he works, 25 hours a day, so that's only like 10 days, right? Guy works hard. Any idea when they will talk about upcoming class changes? Historically, that's been about a month out from the expansion. The job action trailer at that point. At this point, anything we see in things like the benchmark will be purely speculation. Of course, there will be people looking at those abilities and knowing whether or not their ability is going to be amazing. Even with the job action trailer, I will put a giant caveat on that. Even if you see potencies go up or down, until we see the content, until we see the way the gear works, and especially with a stat squish and dropping of belts, until we get in there, until we get into the first Savage tier, we're not really going to know how these jobs perform against each other. We're just not. But it'll be exciting just the same. What's the big hook on there? That's for him getting dragged through the content by real tanks.
Oh man. I can't even, dude. Can't even with you tonight. That's ridiculous.
So maybe they'll post some screenshots on the forums when they do the late night checks, like always, showing off some gear here. Look at that Paladin. Look at that Rogadin dressing like the trailer. Okay.
Very nice.
All right.
Got a cape.
But just talking about things we already mentioned is boring. So let's show it off. Oh, yes. That is a good-looking axe. It's not a hammer, though. And as a warrior, thanks to Shadowbringers, we can equip with a hammer. But I like the armor. I don't know. It just makes me feel like fell cleaving something. Of course, me dressing like a pig also makes me feel like fell cleaving. Look at how lean the Dark Knight looks.
The Dark Knight looks very lean.
Wow.
Looks very.
Way to watch your calories, man.
Yeah, it looks very not Kane, but it looks very Cecil prior to the transformation.
Yeah, you gotta let your soul just eat you alive from the inside.
Gunbreaker rocking an eye patch.
Okay.
As
Captain of a pirate ship.
Also male Vieira in that picture.
They said that's a more stylish Gunbreaker.
Here's the monk.
Night Sky Prince raiding us. Probably so that he can go hide in a hole and listen to that benchmark audio and gather things from it that I probably missed. If you guys aren't following Night Sky Prince,
I got it.
That is a person that offers incredible insight that there is no way I could ever catch. When Brian and I talk about wanting other content creators in the space, it's because we want people that bring unique perspectives. Night Sky Prince is a solid example of that. How are you doing tonight? Look at this Dragoon, ready to dive from the moon and crush things.
Yeah, because I'm looking at Ninja right now, so you might be a little bit ahead of me.
Now remember, Ninja is second. Immediately after this, right? Yep. Ninja's next. I'm a little behind.
Okay, never mind. I was like, wait a minute.
So here's Ninja,
in the chat.
A Ninja Bunny, and keep in mind, Dragoon is going to be sharing armor with Reaper this time around.
Yes, I really hope that they work in a Wyvern for the Dragoon. That would be so nice. It doesn't have to be an always out pet, but that would be really nice.
Samurai. They said you will note that with this additional Vieira,
look at those eyes.
We're working in some more hairstyles, and they want to say sorry it took so long. New Vieira hair. Qualro noticed it right away. And Cranian as well. Look at that. Very cool. So these are the AF gear. So these are going to be every single class specific, but that was just a reminder that Dragoon is going to be sharing gear. So these are your class specific gear. We get these every expansion.
That samurai looked very emo.
Samurai ready for a a casual punk night in. Little accessories under the eye. Not sure if you can see them, but they are the headgear. Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Oh, toss a coin to your bard. Loving the bard here. Loving the bard. Cool.
The machinist.
Looks like a bard. Looks like a Three Musketeer.
Is the machinist's automata, the queen, is it matching the gear set?
I don't know. No.
Right.
They said the right side is not part of the gear. They're just showing off the robot.
Man.
So here comes machinist. For some reason, my stream is just a little behind, but I dare not refresh. I don't want to miss anything. So here comes machinist.
I think my stream froze.
He would like to note that the robot is, of course, not part of your glams. Cool. Next up is going to be Dancer. I love this weapon. I adore this weapon. I will say that learning Dancer, I feel like I can hit things from an oddly far distance for how melee ready they look. They look so agile and quick, and they're standing just way back there. They got room for days. Room for days. Ridiculous.
Yeah, Dancer scissor hands. All right, Summoner with Phoenix hanging out next to him.
You are way ahead of me. We have not even seen Black Mage yet.
Yeah, Black Mage is already up and down. Bob, 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 bob.
Here comes Black Mage. Cool. They said Black Cat not included.
Yeah, I wonder what's up with that.
And then Summoner.
Yeah, I'm already on red.
I'm not going to refresh while they're showing images. Yeah. I don't want to. Cool. Phoenix confirmed. We don't know what the Summoner changes are going to be. We do know that they've addressed not wanting to work on Eggy Glams because, there might be changes upcoming that would not make sense to update Eggy Glams with that coming.
Paladin is the real tank in Final Fantasy Mega Man.
Red Mage with an egg. I don't know why they've got an egg, but it just looks like a typical Red Mage looking Red Mage is what he said. Same principle, typical White Mage gear.
Yeah.
They said the male version is a little adjusted. Very White Mage looking. Very White Mage looking. Floppy Dog with 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Floppy Dogs, dude. Appreciate the support, man.
These are good.
And thanks, guys, for the 71 likes here on YouTube. I think our record is actually 250 currently. I think while we're live. So, but who knows? The stream might be going enough to where we're gonna hit it. So, appreciate it. It helps share out the stream. So. Yeah, if you like the stream, hit that like button.
These are pretty typical looking. The healers look pretty typical. The White Mage, the Scholar, the Astro. Cool.
I really want to know more about that PvP mode.
Rongarin with 1,000 bits. Thank you. Can I change the size of my sub notification? I can. Where is alerts? Oh, no. I pressed the wrong screen. Go back. Go back.
Oh, it's jumped up. Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Thank you guys for hitting the like. Oh man, and I want to know more about the island sanctuary. Like that honestly sounds like really interesting content.
Okay, adjusted. Doing it live. Okay, so they've already shown us Sage and Reaper. I'm gonna cancel this out and see if I can refresh the page, catch up with Brian. Please no ad.
Yeah, they're right now showing off the additional summary. So we got new data center,
no whammy,
Oceania,
no whammy.
New data center travel system,
Cool.
island sanctuary, updates to the Gold Saucer, residential district, the Ishgard, and then the new small scale PvP mode.
I'm looking at changing the sub notification stuff, so just all together. It's been a process.
Yeah, get our 14 Farmville, fix going on.
So they said we will discuss the new PvP in an extra broadcast at a later date. We are developing a lottery system for housing. First come, first serve wards and lottery wards.
Oh, okay. That's going to take some pressure off.
Tiernan asks, is it smaller? It should be smaller. Did I miss it? Did I miss the overlay? It looks smaller. Yeah. Went top right. So.
Oh, and of course you have to meet all the requirements. You have to deposit the guild in advance. So you put the money on. You put the money on the table. You put the money on the table. This sounds at least like we're moving in a good direction. No more like Chris. Thank God you don't have to do those housing streams. But at the end of the day, like, oh my gosh, like that's what the nice thing is that when people talk about how hard and how housing and difficult it can be, you can go, you know what? I can empathize. And Jasmine dropping 5 gifted subs over on Twitch. Thank you guys for the support. If you guys don't follow us on Twitch,
and free company only awards, so that we can freely swap around, and we will adjust these settings closer to release date depending on servers and population.
Oh,
monstrous!
Yes.
Okay. This is good. Juggernaut, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Look at you guys hype training it up.
Yeah, this is amazing news.
Data center travel will be limited to regions at first. That is what I expected. And I said that and people were like, no, you can't visit JP from NA. That is what I expected. Why would you roll it out worldwide first?
Yeah, let it make sure it's stable and working.
Let's start it stable without ping issues factoring in. Because, for example, the 3 North American data centers are all based at this point out of Burbank, California. And so you should have the same ping to any of the 3 of them. So just get the bugs out, keeping us in the same region before people start jumping all over. And you can't decide, is the issue with the system or is the issue with the fact that you're playing somewhere that is different? So Juggernaut, thank you. Lady Wizard resubscribing with Prime, 27 months. And it let your sub last too long for your streak, 27 months. Fluffy Dogs with another 5 gifted subs. Thank you.
Dude, thank you so much. Hitting level 3.
You guys really like those smaller sub notifications.
Yeah. And then, guys, if you are here hanging out with us on YouTube, if you do have a Twitch and you want to go and follow us over on Twitch, we love for you over there. Chris streams Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can always check him out throughout the week. And even if it's not us, you do have Amazon Prime. You do have a free Prime sub every month. You can drop it on anybody that's over there making cool stuff on content, just like Night Sky Prince coming over here with the raid earlier. So it doesn't have to be us. Just be sure to spend that Bezos money each and every month because it costs you. You've already spent it for your Prime membership, so you're good to go.
Rosada, thank you for 1,000 bits. And this is where they're starting to talk about downscaling. For anybody that has not been in an MMO that's ever gone through a form of downscaling, this does not mean you're getting weaker. Imagine something had 1,000 life and you did 100 DPS. You'd kill it in 10 seconds. Now imagine we drop it to 100 life and you only do 10 DPS. You'd still kill it in 10 seconds. The reasons for this downscaling. the calculations were beginning to result in bugs. They were causing overflow, especially as you start to talk about things like Delibrum Savage, where the amounts of health they were having to put on monsters was ridiculous. They were talking about calculating things for the enemy enmity and stuff were reaching their limits, causing enmity issues at the top end. Flying text was becoming too lengthy. The enemy HP was becoming monstrously high as 440 million, and which is just crazy. And so this is allowing them to increase the gear and stats between level 50 and 80 to limit that, as well as they're going to kind of go over a little Q&A about how all of this works. It doesn't mean the goal is for you not to necessarily feel weaker. The same adjustments will apply to all players, allies, and enemies. So you should not find things more difficult than before. Having lived through scaling before, I will tell you there are outliers that don't always make it. But of course, my experience with games like this, especially when it feels like the devs are doing a lot of testing and getting a lot of feedback from players, is that their goals will be to protect things like Ultimate, to protect things like the Savage Race, to make sure that going back and farming extremes and going back and doing things like Palace of the Dead remain an accurate and fair representation of what they are. A Sestasha clear in your leveling roulette is not going to get the priority there. So some things will feel a little weird. For any of you that have ever played any of the new jobs added to the game, things like Dark Knight, Red Mage, Samurai, Gunbreaker, any of those, they do feel incredibly powerful and synced content. So that's always been an issue. That's not going to be this introducing that. That's always been weird. But downscaling as a whole, their goal is to make sure that you feel good, but the numbers are just smaller. So let's say, here's their example, you fight an enemy that was scaled to eye level 500 and your gear was eye level 500. Their stats will have been adjusted as well, so it will not be different. And so this is going to bring up a lot of questions, though.
Yeah, so essentially when we dive into it, then, will this affect undersized parties? And he says the changes to the gear stats will actually have an effect on undersized parties. That's when you're going into different content unsynced. But they're going to add a small buff to compensate for that difference. So that's only really where it's going to impact. And this also kicks off pretty much from level 50 onward. So prior to level 50, all they're like, yeah, that's great. That's perfect. But everything's getting...
as soon as you get to the end game stuff where there was these big progressions, that's where it started to break. Kiernax, thank you for gifting out a sub. Sam, thank you for sharing Prime with us. Fido with 100 bits. Tiernan with 500 bits. And so they did say that if you fight the same enemy that's scaled to 500 while equipping 530, the stat difference will be on your end between 500 and 530 will be less than it was. So it might feel a little bit longer now. Yeah, you've lived through downscaling if you played WoW. I mean, at this point, they've downscaled you like in levels too. So
yeah, I'm happy that's not happening. I'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
So we won't get big hits anymore, like Fire 4 dropping 50k damage or Despair doing 100k damage. So if the baseline for big damage was 100k before, now it will be 20k. Strong attacks will still be strong, just everything is getting a little tighter.
All right. And Echo Wings with 100 bits and Fluffy Dogs with another 10 gifted subs.
Wow, dude, thank you.
So now I will say, as people who lived through WoW kind of at its peak before we started seeing a lot of these big scale downs, we not get to see the big hits anymore, like Fire 4 for 50,000 damage or Despair for 100,000 damage. As if the baseline for big damage was 100,000 before, now it will be 20,000. Strong attacks will still be strong. You're just not going to see these numbers. You know, for those of you that have been seeing these numbers, especially when we start to talk about like fragmented numbers and stuff where you're getting into, it gets a little crazy. Brian dropping 10 subs over here on Twitch.
Yeah, thanks guys. I just want to say thank you for all the support and figured I'd toss my hat in the ring for that. So thank you guys.
And so this is something that they have to do to make sure that these numbers will increase as long as Final Fantasy XIV continues. This is something to make sure that they've scaled this. They're building this system more dynamically so that they may have to repeat this process in the future. When WoW went through this the first time was incredibly manual, and they built it dynamically. And this is because, and Yoshi P says here, he wants to continue for at least another 10 years. So when you see changes like this, guys, this is a reminder for anybody that says, well, if it ending in 6.0, I wonder if they just wrap the game up in 7.0. Things like the Oceanic Data Center, things like getting rid of belts and to make room in armory space, things like a stat squish, investing in server infrastructure. These are the sorts of things that you do when you are looking for a game to last much longer than another 2 years. So this is a reminder that while this may feel frustrating in the short term, the positive side of this is that they are supporting this game for the long term. Now, belts in your inventory are going to remain there. The following will be given to the Calamity Salvager. Anything that you have equipped, anything stored in your armory chest, any belts that are equipped by a retainer, just in case you want those. I assume I just descent them down. Materia affixed to the belts will remain intact when you retrieve them from the Calamity Salvager. Keep in mind, the Calamity Salvager, if I remember that correctly, that's also where you go to buy your class sets if you ever destroy those. Qualro giving out 5 gifted subs, and Cosmo resubscribing for a month after you subscribed for 2 months. So welcome again. So you won't lose anything if I'm lazy and don't prepare.
Yeah,
and Yoshi P says, yes.
There's not much players that have to actually prepare for this, but for things in your armory or on your retainer, for example, will be put into the Calamity Scavenger.
Right.
Oh, look at that armory chest in the ring.
Materia extraction will no longer work on belts. Obviously, you would no longer be able to build up spirit bonds since you'd no longer be able to equip them. So there's no reason for that. So that does seem like if you do have it fully spirit bonded, make sure you extract from that if you want it beforehand. But I mean, you're only really getting up to what, 8s? Aren't we going to 9s and 10s? Is that what we're doing?
That's the assumption.
So that is the assumption. So they are showing it off now. Remember, there are 35 slots in each category. And so you will notice on the left side, there is now not as many slots as there were on the right side. It doesn't go down as far because they removed belts. We will take those 35 slots. We will put 15 in primary and 15 in rings, taking them each from 35 to 50. That will leave 5. And so Yoshi just said, whoa, Yoshida, 15 times 2 is 30 and not 35. What about the other 5? What about the other 5? Spirit bonding is experience that builds up on your gear as you use it. It used to destroy the gear to extract a free materia for that. It no longer does. So now you use materia extraction. Once your spirit bond has reached 100%, it resets that experience, that spirit bonding curve, and gives you free materia relevant to the gear level that you're extracting from. So if you're at max level gear, it's a great source of really high level materia. We are keeping the extra 5 and we are reserving them for potential future patches. I can still calculate. I didn't forget my maths, is what he says.
Flock's on every time it shows up. Saint's like, funny. Anyone else here coming from OnlyFans / Ginger Prime?
And Fluffy Dog says, here's the other 5. Thank you for 5 more gifted subs.
Thank you, Fluffy.
Book Boy, thank you for your 5th month. All right. They said they're behind.
Okay.
So figure out where we can catch up on time again.
Somebody messaged me the other day, and I asked for evidence because I was like, well, but they were saying that somebody's running around pretending and impersonating themselves as me, and doing, obviously I think trying to do harm to Ginger Prime or Brian or whatever they want. But I was like, can you send me some screenshots or whatever? But we'll see if that happens. So I was like, did somebody create an OnlyFans named off of Ginger Prime? Like, ugh. Like you guys, fear not. Like, that's not happening.
So there's a lot of events going on to hype up towards Endwalker. So as much as we are done with mainline content until Endwalker, there's a lot going on. Remember, right now we have a Fat Black Chocobo event. If you want to go spend time getting to know the creators on that list between now and August 24th and support one and trade for that lovely bird. We've shared our opinions on the event, so we won't dwell there. And right now there is a free login campaign going through basically the same time period to encourage returners. That has some restrictions on it, but any of you that are kind of on break from the game, you're like, I wouldn't mind coming back to get my feet wet. Go look at that and kind of see how that applies to you. We also have upcoming schedule. Monday the 19th, the Make It Rain campaign will be coming back. So Make It Rain is our Golden Saucer Festival. So that's going to be big. We have the Tuesday, July 20th, patch 5.58. That'll be the last Feast season, Feast 20, right? As well as miscellaneous updates. We assumed that would be based on leaks, also when they rolled out Data Center Visit, but that is not listed there. Friday, August 13th will be the Moonfire Fair. This is our Moonfire Fair is our summer event, right? In Costa del Sol is where it's historically been. That's our swimsuit type event.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and have a beach party. And then Friday, August 27th is the Rising. This is our anniversary event.
Mm-hmm.
So they're flying through these. The game has been discounted from time to time, so keep that in mind as well.
And then on September 13th, the Final Fantasy XV collaboration event returns.
Be sure that during the Gold Saucer event or anytime between now and then, especially on Fridays, doing that fashion show, turn that in for your 60,000 gil or whatever. Because I believe that car was like 200 or 250,000 MGP. So you want to kind of have that banked up for when that car comes back.
Mid-September, Media Tour.
So September, the Final Fantasy XV collab event. It was a quest in Blackbrush Station. It was pretty quick. I think it could be completed at, I want to say it was like level 15. It wasn't a big deal. And then you went to the Gold Saucer to buy that car, but you will have to redo everything to reopen that shop if you only partially completed it before. I don't know if there will be new items. Sometimes when like Yokai Watch comes back around, there's new items, and sometimes there's not. So I assume that'll be kind of gone over as that gets there. The quests will be reset. So if you want to replay them, you will be able to. So just because of that means that the store also is reset. But there will be more details will be available on the event page. There will be a media tour.
They're planning on doing it remotely because of COVID. Which,
all right.
Just fire up some cloud boxes.
I was trying to see who was in the pictures.
Oh yeah, I didn't recognize him. I was like, I wonder if that was from.
That was not NA on the left and not NA on the right. Could be NA on the right.
So from October 19th, Moogle Treasure Trove is kicking back off. So that's going to run from the 19th till the expansion. So a month of Moogle Treasure Trove time, baby.
And remember, that is around the time when we will be able to show the 6.0 battle changes. Keep in mind that the Media Tour people will be under a NDA. So from that September time until those get shown off in October, they will not be able to talk about it. That also means that some of your favorite content creators might go a little dark to make a bunch of content, and be careful not to accidentally spoil that. So just be really respectful around that time, and it is really exciting. What will happen is, last time I think they had like a live letter where they kind of talked about everything, but then like you didn't really get all of a bunch of like, okay, but how will my rotation work? How is this? And then that same day, like, what do the new Bunny Boys really feel like? And that all came out as a blitz of just tons of content coming out. Everything from Kotaku to IGN to YouTubers. It was just a massive amount of things that came out.
Yeah.
Kind of all at once. So pretty cool.
He said that Ginger will go dark. We do not know if we're invited to the media tour.
We're not invited. We won't go dark. Easy enough.
Exactly.
So, if we are invited, we've got a couple of plans in mind. They're really rough. We just need to know, like, okay, well, how long is the window? If the window's 10 days, we'll probably pre-spin up content prior to it so that we don't have to worry about accidentally saying anything. What I'll probably do is I'll stream other games so that I'm not talking about 14. And then there'll be slightly shorter streams so I can spend the back half of the day editing videos. And then we will... Yeah, so like, I don't know. We'll play by ear. We don't know if we're invited, so it's not really worth spending a ton of time making a plan because it doesn't have anything. They said that they have 160 to 180% more pre-orders compared to Shadowbringers. If you want to be able to play early access, remember that time between the 19th and the 23rd, you do need to pre-order. If you pre-order now, you get your earring for 30% additional experience through level 80 on all your battle jobs, just battle jobs, right?
Yep.
And the Ifrit jacket you've seen earlier will be introduced during the Myrtle Treasure Trove event if you beat the challenge. Now, November 30th, Saints Wake. This is our Halloween event.
It's coming back. We didn't get one last year because of COVID.
Yep. Hallows Eve. You WoW players. So we did not get one last year. They actually made a reference to it in the winter event. One of the characters accidentally put out some of the Halloween decorations, and you had to go help them put them away as a tribute to those not getting that event. This game actually spins up unique versions of each seasonal event. So when you run into delays for something like COVID, that's one of the casualties that appeared because it's not just a reuse of a previous event. December 15th, our Starlight Celebration. This is your Winter's Eve, your Winter Veil for you WoW players. This is your Feast of Winter Veil, your Christmas style event. It is not Halloween. It's All Saints Wake. They say. Okay, sure. January 1st. Heaven's Turn. What is Heaven's Turn, Brian?
Heaven's Turn? That's the New Year event. So it's going to be the Year of the Bull, I believe. Thank you.
I don't know. I'm staring at it.
You're good. So many things, right? Like so many events. It's there was a famine in a way. Like we didn't feel it as much as other, like, we're not going to talk about it, MMOs.
Yep.
Wow. But now it feels like we're like in feast mode where it's like, all right, cool. But All Saints Wake's coming back. Boom. Heaven's Turns right next after that. Starlight Celebration, Heaven's Turn. Boom, we're ready to go. And then we're in 2022, and hopefully we'll be talking about 6.1. We'll be talking about the new Ultimate Raid. We'll be talking about the new Mists of the Realm. Like, there's just so much it's going to be awesome, guys.
Now remember, this is all just the events, so of course there will also be raid patches after the 23rd of November. So for everybody coming over from WoW, it's just like WoW, where they delay the raid a little bit to encourage people to enjoy the content for what it is and not feel that I need to just blast through all of the new content so that I can get to the raid. You can enjoy that. So they are now going to show benchmark character creation.
Now, while they go and transition to that, one of the things you don't see on the slides is they're not actually showing the raid dates. So we're still assuming that it's going to be 2 weeks later, but it is possible that might be different this time around just because of how the
They mentioned that they would fall during Christmas earlier.
Yeah.
So we know it's in that time frame, but it could be 2 week. It could be adjusted slightly. We don't have specific named dates.
Right. Guys, I can't come to Christmas this year, guys.
So
let's see here. What's the it looks like Sage is in first place right now. So Lunar Whale versus Sage. So all right. So that's the challenge, guys. If no pressure to do so, but if we get 9 more members here on Ginger Prime, and that actually starts at $1, I can actually open up a new emote slot. So when that happens, whether it's this week or whenever, looks like Sage is winning. So I'll keep the poll up. We'll end it when the stream ends.
Here's the new character creator.
Yeah.
There's our bunny boys.
Male
so you'll notice the Viera now actually has both genders available.
Yeah.
Rothgar still does not. They are working on female Rothgar. I heard somebody say in a stream the other day, they said, female Rothgar won't be till 6.1. That was not confirmed. They simply said they're working on it. It could be 7.0. It could be 8.0. They simply confirmed, hey, here's bunny boys. We are working on female Roth. They just so wherever that got misunderstood, that has not been a objectively confirmed fact. Just be very, very careful with that.
Spriggan says, no Thanksgiving and time to break up with the girlfriend. One of the things I find particularly funny about that is that there was a time in my life that I don't know if anybody else experienced it, but relationships happened in bulk, meaning, oh man, so-and-so got broken up with, and then it was just like, ba-da. Like, it was like, all right, we all got together, and we're like, we're all done with this. And then they would also, and then eventually at some point, then it's like, oh my gosh, everybody's dating again. I always kind of felt like...
that's actually, that's just true in general.
Oh, is it? I just thought it was
my parents were warned when they went to marital counseling before my mom and my dad split up that divorce is contagious. So they said, if you guys are struggling right now, like be very careful around other people that are getting divorced, because what'll happen is somebody's going through a struggle in their life. And in order to kind of relate and share that, they say, this is the sort of thing that's bothering me. And you're like, oh my gosh, that does bother me.
That does bother me.
And so
too.
that kind of plants those seeds. So just be really aware. Like you want to be there for your friends, but like, that's just a side PSA. So that's just a general human thing. You wish your parents' divorce was because of a video game. Yeah. All right, so they said the male Viera are smaller. That's why we couldn't find them before. They were too tiny.
They're hiding.
You couldn't see them.
Matsune,
They've been
so
here
much,
all
man.
along.
Yeah.
They've been here all along.
Bunny boys.
They were just tiny. That's funny.
This really, like, if you guys were hanging out with us during FanFest, you'll know that literally caught me off guard. So it's just, oh my gosh, man, it just like blew me away. I was like, what? I thought they were. What was I thinking they were going to announce? Because it was like, wait, are they going to do it? Like I was hoping for Xbox, but obviously we didn't get Xbox. But
so 17 hairstyles. How many do we have right now? How many female character creation hairstyles do we have?
Chili.
Just character creation. Does anybody have the game booted up?
I had the game up, and then it was like messing with like the PC because I was in whatever reason. It was just like doing its thing.
Oh, we got lots, Sonia. We got lots. But we're moving right along.
Oh man,
moving right along. The big thing the big winner right now is the benchmark. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning.
That and still blew me away. Blew me away.
Now remember that, of course, when you run the benchmark, you will have the character creator in it, so you will get to go experience all of this yourself. So to any of you grabbing screenshots, just keep in mind all of this is going to be available on the benchmark as of Sunday.
Yeah. So
very, very, very soon. So you will be able to kind of go through and explore this, see the bunny boys, see the new Viera hairstyles. See if that's enough for the fact that they did apologize that it's taken them that long to add more, and see the new. I think all your jobs will be in the new class gear.
Yeah,
so that'll be exciting. Is benchmark only available for PC, Mac? I don't remember.
I don't even know if it's going to be available for Mac, but we'll find out.
I think it might. I don't know. It may only have been PC. It may have been PC only last time. The benchmark itself will be viewable as a clip. It's already posted to YouTube on the Final Fantasy XIV channel. So that's already live. I already have it pulled up in a tab. So when we get to the break, we'll watch it. It was incredible. But if you want to test your computer and test your specs, I know it runs on PC. Your bank halted your donating. Well, thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, just thinking about it and the fact that you guys are here, like lurking, whether you also lurk on the Twitch stream, which we can't thank you guys enough. It helps out so much, so we do appreciate it. Chris does. In fact, when we were out at the media tour and Yoshi P announced 64-bit processing on the Mac version of Final Fantasy XIV, Chris yelled. He was like, yes! And then later they came up to him.
Alone, in a room full of content creators. The whole room was silent, and I shouted.
And then they later came up to him, and they're like, Yoshi P's so happy that somebody's excited about it.
He said it was a ton of work, and he was worried that nobody would notice, and so they sent somebody over to say, hey, Yoshida just wanted to say thank you.
Oh man, we just hit a milestone.
I'm glad that they got me. They got 25% of all the Mac players worldwide in the room. So I think they were.
You were
they were excited.
Overly represented there.
I think the new M1 Macs have probably at least doubled our numbers. There's probably 8 of us now.
Crossed a milestone, 154 likes. Thank you guys. That helps share out the stream. Lisa following up, joining as a member. I think that puts us down to.
They said the file's pretty big, so please don't all download it once. So the file's pretty big, so everybody, I'm sure, immediately went to click download.
Is the download site up?
I don't know. Okay, so first part done, no break. They're going straight into the second part so that they can close up the time because they were a little behind. So no break. We'll watch the rest later. We'll watch that thing later. It's not expiring. Evolve, thank you for sharing Prime with us. All right. So that, I mean, benchmark, it says available from. I don't know if it'll let you download the file. Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Because of y'all support, we added a new emote over here on the YouTube as well. So that's what you guys are voting on. What's
This
next?
is shenanigans.
New Genesis is free. Oh, and New Genesis slaps, dude. I am loving it. The only downside is I just don't have time.
I don't know.
I just log in a little bit every time, beat up on some mobs, make a little progress, have a good time.
It has magnets in the head. Oh, probably so they can ship it easier.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So this is I am the liar, Yoko Taro. Everything I say will be a lie. Here to answer questions about the 3-part raid series overlapping with Nier. For those of you that liked the series or it introduced you to Nier for the first time and you enjoyed that, I'm glad for you. For those of you that, like me, would have preferred a 14 dedicated thing because they wanted more of the lore tied to this expansion, not as an insult to Nier, but because I was hungry for lore tied more directly to Shadowbringers. Next expansion is going to be a 14 original content with Mists of the Realm. So that's good news for that. Am I actually on a Mac? So as of November, I moved all of my streaming and content creation to a dedicated streaming-only PC, and I do all my editing on Mac. So my Mac is still sitting left to me. As of this moment, everything that is posted to gaming kinda for the month of July and probably the month of August is all edited by Brian. So I'm editing some bigger stuff that I'm working on, but everything you're seeing right now is all Brian. So my Mac is my personal computer, and I'll be replacing it with a new M1 Mac as soon as the fall hardware thing gets announced. So I just want to make sure there's nothing shiny.
You going with the Mac Mini or an iMac?
I'm going to go with the Mac Mini. They've both been redone recently, so there's probably no news there, but like we're this close to the fall, so I'll just wait. Benchmark theoretically would murder a Mac. No way it would murder an M1 Mac. No way. M1s are doing astounding things. No way. I'm not saying that a Mac would destroy the benchmark, but the problem is that 14 runs a wine wrapper. Like it's not a true Mac exclusive client. It's effectively an export. So sometimes it's run well and sometimes it hasn't. So if you've ever seen my review videos on the Mac, when it's run well, I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to play this game on Mac if you love Mac. And then when we've been in a patch cycle where it has not handled things, I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Get access to a PlayStation or a PC. They're like, well, your other videos, look at when they're published. All right.
And it's interesting that Nier, the Final Fantasy XIV raid is canon to Nier. Like it's canon in Nier.
So these are questions gathered by players on the forum. The first question is about Anog and Kanog in the story there. Yoko said that I don't, and so I'm not going to reveal any more than that. Yoko said that I don't like talking about story, so I'm not going to do that. But I will comment on the result. I first thought some Final Fantasy XIV engineer messed with the numbers so that they wouldn't have to adjust the story. We made the system to even get this data at request of Yoko-san, and the first site we thought was the data was bugged. Is this going to be that a lot of people liked it? Because please don't tell me you're going to pull a World of Warcraft and say lots of playtime equals lots of fun. Please don't do it. Because do I clear the Nier content regularly? Yes, because it's a great source of 520s. And I can get my coins for upgrading my 520s into 530s. That is not a sign that I have not enjoyed past raid series more than the Nier. I love 24-mans. They've been really fun fights. I just would have preferred that the story behind them was giving me more about Shadowbringers. That is not to take away from people that enjoyed it. I hope they never introduce something into the game that there's not people that enjoy it. That would be so sad. I'm just telling you it's not me.
Yeah.
So I'm glad there's people that do. It just isn't me. So that's just there's been a lot of great glamour.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it was in another game gave them a chance to really play with the aesthetics, really play with some new style of mechanics. So I really enjoyed that. And the Alliance raids in general have always allowed them to kind of screw with mechanics because 3 8-mans makes for a different fight. It's why I wish we had Alliance raid Savages, and seeing things like Baldesian Arsenal and Deliverum Savage and all that just further cements in my mind that we should have 24-man Savages if they have the resources to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Not because necessarily I would clear them, but because I love watching things like that. I love what they do for the community. I love the amount of emphasis they put on, players in the community that enjoy raid content. I think content like that is healthy, even if I don't clear it. I think it's awesome. And getting to go watch shenanigans, getting to go watch the Deliverum Savage, even though I haven't set foot in it, getting to watch Ultimates, even though I've never set foot in it, is so awesome. If you guys have not watched the 8-tank clear of UCOB, it's fantastic. Ren tweeted it out again the other day. Very, very cool.
And Crossy says the Evilise 24-mans were a great way of handling the crossover content and also added to the 14 lore. Absolutely agreed. And then having that build into Boja and that entire story there, I have to say that it really made me appreciate Stormblood as an expansion, because I felt like Stormblood as an expansion didn't finish the thought and it took us off world. And while Shadowbringers was incredible, I kept wondering, I was like, what's happening? And now with all that's going on, I'm like, yeah, I think way more enjoyment in Shadowbringer Stormblood from what we've experienced with the Near Raid and what we've experienced with the Blades of Gunhildr, Save the Queen.
Where would Alliance raids fit within the gearing? Honestly, I'd probably make them Alliance raid extremes, and I would probably do the weapons from the extremes. I would probably make them a half step between home gear and the Savage gear.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way they kind of releases this weird catch up. I don't know. I'm not a gearing expert in that way. I don't chase best in slot, but off the top of my head, 24-man jumping all the way to being Savage would actually probably make them harder than Savage for some groups, because it requires so much coordination and it takes pressure off the individual, but then requires it's such a pivot. I would make them just crazier 24-mans, maybe even something below extreme. Maybe they're just, we already used the word hard for things, but maybe they're just 24-man difficults. And there's just additional things there. So I think for me, there's things that we get to explore in 24-mans. When we think about things like the dogfight, where you have a group go in the belly and a group do chains and a group do adds, those are things that it's harder for a Savage fight to do that because you only have 2 tanks and 2 healers. You don't have 3 tanks and 6 healers that are all already dedicated in separate lettered groups. And so there's just some things, I don't know. I think that would be something really neat. I think the game does not want Alliance raids to be more difficult than the 8-man raid difficulty. So I'd probably put them around the 8-man trial difficulty, which I think because of the number of people would make them harder than the trials. And then kind of like the Bosja, maybe they're just an alternate gear progression, like another source of tome style gear or something like that.
We got a question from Icarus Prime saying, did they announce more hairstyles for Hrothgar? Not to mention being able to change to the only other hairstyle per face. And we did get new hairstyles for Vieira. I did not see any news about Hrothgar. Chris, are you aware of that? Yes or no?
Aware of what?
New hairstyles for Hrothgar. I know they said it for Vieira and showed it off.
I did not see anything about Roth. I just saw Vieira. Obviously, they've only talked about Vieira, so they haven't mentioned Roth yet. So, I think if it were me, I would spend a lot of time focusing on the things you can deliver. Mm-hmm. And for now, you've said we're working on Roth, and I would
probably expect that around then.
If it were me. They do a great job presenting, though, so don't listen to work the game. They could make it Baldesian Arsenal and Deliverum is assigned at large content, and they've really enjoyed that. So maybe the answer to Alliance Raid Extreme is just making the Relic content have more of that. So they're still talking about, I thought that whichever one was a choice was higher up in the UI was adding player pick. Are there any plans on introducing more weapon and gear related to Nier characters? And Yoko said, let's do it. We're Square Enix. the company who listens to its customers. So yes, let's do it. Let's get into the flying unit as a mount. And what about Lala's? We'll manage somehow. And I think, I mean, if you say we can do this, we might be able to make something work. We will try. The pod should not be too hard. Third, what was the meaning behind the title Yorha Dark Apocalypse? Something you adore is a minimum item level variant. Yeah. I mean, that would be another way of adding that, right? Is minimum item level of old Alliance raids would already kind of add that.
Well, an apocalypse usually gets misinterpreted in terms of like meaning. People think it means the end, but it really means a coming together or getting to know. In that regard, so kind of a revealing aspect rather than some kind of like, all right, that was it.
They said they had a few ideas for the title, and originally Apocalypse didn't make the cut, but then Yoshi P said, I want this one, so blame him.
So it's his fault.
So you're kind of shocked that the near flying unit wasn't a mount. I think honestly they've had so much like post progression that we've been able to kind of go back and grind up these coins and go back and get these like continued lore updates and all of that it would be really easy for them to go back and justify. I don't know if the work behind it's easy, but it would be easy to justify that at this point. Maybe if there's a way, I don't know if they can track the number of coins you've ever gotten, or they can give you additional coins. What if you trade in 5 of each coin and you can get a mount from that to kind of further extend the use of that content? So they've set up the systems where if they want to add it and they have the ability to add it, I think it's very justified that the mount wasn't available before now, and they could go back and say, and this was the plan all along. Or you asked for it, so we're adding it. And I don't think that would frustrate anybody. Apocalypse has been a term I really liked since middle school, and there was a dark in front of it, so I had to pick it. Dream from middle school coming true.
Boom, baby.
Yes, they're laughing about how difficult it is to cleanly pronounce Dark Apocalypse in Japanese. And Yoko said there are a few more story questions which I can't or won't answer, so let's just jump down to question 13. All right. We'll see you later, question 4 through 12. What if the Warrior of Light had lost? Well, that's still... What was 4 through 12, if we can talk about that? Oh. That's funny. These guys banter off each other. I think a lot of these franchises get together because the devs themselves are huge fans of each other. Obviously, when it's within the Square Enix team, there is a factor of like, was this a marketing campaign for Square Enix? Yes. But I think there's also a lot of love between these games. We especially saw that with the Monster Hunter back and forth when we got to these interviews, and they had the Monster Hunter dev and Yoshi and him reminisced about being much younger devs, kind of picturing them being like the guy running in to get coffee, and they would go have lunch together, and they said, one day when we're in charge and nobody can tell us no, we're gonna make a game together. And so they were so excited that they were both in charge and nobody could tell them no, and they could do crossover events.
Well,
let's do it. Let's do it. So Yoko's saying that, well, everybody would have joined the Warrior Light and went on a journey together. So is that camera shaking? Is it being held by a person? Looks like it's like vibrating.
A little bit.
All right. Thought maybe it's just me.
It is not just you. Yeah, the current relic weapon is now best in slot. So that's just how it is. Once all of this time happens, in fact, I would say it's probably going to be the most best in slot weapon for the longest period of time we've seen, at least in my opinion.
You're waiting for a direct 10 crossover. By that, do you mean Blitzball?
Oh gosh, that would melt the internet if they did that. We're adding a new weapon for 7.0. It's a Blitzball. Fancy that. That'd be a ranged weapon.
Crossy, I don't know enough about the Nier stuff to understand which parts of it would be the most marketing campaign, but I cannot imagine how many copies of Nier they sold to 14 fans.
Yeah. Well, and then as we were watching like Bellular, like Matt, one of his favorite game over Final Fantasy XIV is Nier, and so it's like the fights and everything are fantastic. But for me, and like I said, but coming off of Ivalice and how integrated it was, like that's the only thing I felt off-putting. But the content, the fights, and everything were phenomenal. And then going into the next expansion with Myths of the Realm being so also connected to the world and the lore of Eorzea and not necessarily something else has me absolutely thrilled. It'll be nice to kind of be focusing in on the source.
So, Yoko says the last boss in a game is always there to be beaten. There never is data about what happens if the last boss is not defeated. I was always thinking about what a hero is. A hero can lose as long as he beats the last boss. There's never a route in which the last boss wins. I love this question because it makes you think about the freedom you have in game design. And so now they're saying, well, then I guess it's time to skip to questions you might actually answer. Now, as far as Blitzball goes, Yoshipi did say in a previous interview that the reason they haven't done Blitzball is not because they haven't considered it. It's that it has come up a number of times, and every time they've had like a development meeting about what it would look like, they can't agree on a path forward where they think everybody would be happy. And so they end up just not putting it in the game because they don't think it's going to be happy. And to put that in context, think about the number of risks they've taken. Think about the risks they've taken with things like Deep Dungeon, with things like the Relic Grinds, with things like Blue Mage. Think about these things and how controversial they've been with the community. Things like releasing Viera and Rothgar as gender locked. These are all decisions that there was a development meeting where they at least felt like they had a strong enough idea to move forward. So the idea that their versions of Blitzball are so torn inside that they can't even pick a path that they want to stand by when they have clearly been willing to produce things that they know part of the community is going to be disappointed in, but they think it's good for the game anyways, tells me that they really are trying to be respectful of what Blitzball should be. They've talked about, should it be something where you're managing the whole team? Should it be player versus player? Should you be controlling just one player? Should you be managing a franchise, something more like squadrons? You know, they mentioned a couple of examples of like what all the different things could be. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, I want that one. No, I want that one. And so it sounds like they were in a meeting and everybody listed their version. It's like, okay, I got 10 ideas and they're all different. Nobody will budge. I guess let's just not do it. And there is a concern that it could work similar to Verminion. It'd be a cool thing rotting away in the golden saucer. It could be. And so I think they want it to be more than that. I really hoped it would come out in Stormblood, obviously, when we added swimming to the game. And so at this point, they just asked another question. So how was the development of story, battle, or music split between the dev teams? Yoka said, I gave feedback on the initial ideas. I can't say it was all the dev team because I don't want to blame them for the bad things, but I can't say it was all me because I can't take all the credit. I really wanted to have the song in the beginning, the SB song, 5B.
I'm assuming they're talking about Shadowbringers, otherwise Stormblood. That's
in the beginning?
Yeah,
I don't know. But that wasn't the Final Fantasy XIV song, so it wasn't used. It's the dungeon boss theme from Stormblood.
One of the two.
Okay. And Okabe-san did a really good job at that Devil collaboration of a Nier song and a Final Fantasy XIV song. It made them laugh when it transitioned to the 14 theme when they first heard it. Yeah, imagine the stress of rebuilding something that Final Fantasy fans are so excited about and then disappointing them. I think that's absolutely the fear.
Some dude says Xeno 2 had a kickball type weapon too, so there's that. Man,
there's people that want it as a job. They want to be a blitzball player as a job.
Honestly, that'd be kind of cool, right? Like if okay, we finally figure out what we want to do, and it's like, that's the same.
It's a question of what the limited job system is. Like, is the limited job system where they're meant to interact with each other? What if it's a limited job?
Hey, Beasley.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, I don't know. What they could do.
That's a really good point of view. The Legend of Zelda timeline does split based off of if Link is defeated by Ganon or not. And then thanks for 179 likes. We have around 500 people here, so challenge you guys. 50% like ratio. Go.
So the dev team said that they really wanted to make a building fly as a mechanic. And Yoko-san heard that and said, okay, let's make it the Square Enix building. And then something about a bug in the copied factory, and Yoko was like, yeah, that was planned. That was planned. I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, I think for Blitzball to be a Blitzballer to be truly different than something like Dancer, it would have to be something like where a limited job, because a limited job gives them the ability to not have to balance it for traditional content. It doesn't have to operate in a traditional role. It doesn't have to be balanced to be really good or really, within the normal realm, right? It could be better. It could be worse. The way you unlock skills, the way it performs, like it gets to be its own thing. It gives it an excuse to have like a masked carnival type moment. So the limited job system really opens you up to not have to balance it for 4-mans or 8-mans.
Yoko says, I was recently told when I have twins in a story, I like to kill one of them. And the reasoning behind it is always money.
He's such a troll. I'd love a new limited job. I think it would give him a chance to really explore that system. A lot of the limited job is that Blue does feel very lonely. Yeah, don't let Yoko write your story. He's a troll, man. To not have to draw deep relationships and to be able to get it done cheap, the lover parent or twin just has to die. Oh, that's funny. Nana, you scrolling back through? Housing lottery. Yeah. Yep.
Housing lottery.
Exciting stuff.
Exciting stuff.
Yep.
And for the lottery, you put your money on the table. Like you put it in. That's what you put in. That way it's not like, oh, you won.
That's what I was hoping the bid would be, like a silent auction where you just go park your money.
Right. Well, I'm surprised that. It's like, okay, that'd be one really fast way to pull money out of the
You don't know what everybody else is bidding. You just got to put it in.
You just put in a number.
What are you willing to bet? We'll tell you if it's enough. If not, we'll give it back.
That'd be really something interesting, Spriggan. The community has been asking for like a 24-man Savage for a long time. And we got it, I guess, with the 24-man, it's 48-man Deliberum, in that regards, but...
Take the Redditor. We don't need him. Did you see the Minfilia in the Ash Creation stream today? No. All right. Will there be a continuation of this story? And Yoko says, if you pay me, sure. We can do it in a bar. Death in a story is not meaningful if it doesn't hurt. So to people that are like, I would just be so hurt if one of the characters died that I cared for. Good. That's my thought on that. Good. Like, that's what makes stories matter. That's what makes real life matter, is that we know that life is fleeting and that not every day can be a good day. We know that. And so, it brings greater joy. So for a game that we feel connected to and feel emotional, there can be sad moments. There can be contrast. We can handle that level of maturity. We tackle very mature subjects in the story of this game. That's okay. We can do that. And so, without talking spoilers here, because not everybody's cleared story, anytime in any game, if a character dies, it can hurt. It can hurt. And that's okay. And the great thing about video games is that nothing's off limits. So going back in time to re-explore a time from before, we can still explore that character's arc without having to make their death not permanent, without having to make their death not matter and have lasting impact. We can go back and say, I wasn't done exploring the relationship between these two people, then have a flashback. We can do that.
Alan says Beastmaster should be like Blue Mage, same mechanics instead of spells, put mobs. And we agree. One of the shocking things is that we haven't heard of Beastmaster, even though Beastmaster and Puppet Master were teased when the original limiteds were announced. And I think for obviously, varying reasons, that delays and things like that, and because they have never officially announced it, there's no reason to announce a delay in Beastmaster. And then at the same time, having an announced a delay in Ultimate, and then coming back and being like, here's a limited job, I don't think would have really gone over well. But it would have been perfect content for the summer months, in my opinion.
Hawkster, thanks for 4 months. For anybody that hasn't seen us cover a live letter before, we're going through this and we're kind of talking through this as it goes. When we get to the end, we'll do one big summary. We'll actually record it for YouTube. So it'll get posted there for everybody that misses this event. So we will do one big summary rather than go back and kind of do a little bit of it and then a little bit of it and a little bit of it. So there has been news. There will be more news. Many things are not yet going to be revealed. So there was a calendar revealed that kind of went over it. We will loop back and we will catch all of it. Right now they're in the second part, which is the interview with Yoko. So about all the Nier stuff. Yeah. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and what they showed off with that benchmark, oh my goodness. Oh, so freaking exciting.
So good. Now, do you remember how long this was supposed to be? This is 2 hours total, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean we have 28 more minutes?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Quad, thank you for sharing Prime. So, ballpark, they have not been perfectly on schedule tonight. As a matter of fact, there's usually a break between part 1 and part 2, and we were going to watch the benchmark footage again because they revealed the new benchmark for Endwalker as part of the many things we're going to go over here that they added. And there was no bench. There wasn't that. So we'll get to watch that as well. There is the other big event I want to watch tonight's the Q&A. That's not for like another, I don't know, 2.5 hours. We've got like 2 hours where we're just going to be hanging out.
Now, Neo says, you guys heard of Swords of Legend Online? Are you asking, have we heard of the game or if there's news around the game? Because we actually both have keys to the game, and I even put up some like a controller guide and some different stuff on it over on Ginger Prime Neo. So if the way I read your question, it's like, have you guys heard like there's some news or something like that? But if you're asking if we know of the game, then the answer is yes.
Quad and Irony, thanks for sharing Prime with us. So the Alliance story felt longer than actually I think did we miss one?
No.
Yoshi's talking about will there be a continuation. We had a lot of people in our dev team who played Yoko-san's games and influenced the design and mechanics a lot, so we are interested. As long as we get the budget, we might do something. Most games that you clear and are done with usually end on a happy note with everyone holding hands, but Final Fantasy XIV is an MMO, an everyday story. So we needed to make something that blends into the world of Final Fantasy XIV. The weekly quests were not a build-up to a big finale, but showing how and that the story continued even after the big finale. The next question is, the Alliance story felt longer than the previous Alliance raids. And Yoshi says, we didn't really try to make it shorter, so that just kind of happened. Saying the event and the cutscenes were really impressive, and he goes on to say that the staff just really likes Yoko-san's games. We would like to play it. Fridays, I play Guild Wars, and I've been doing that for a few months, and I will be until I kind of at least get that into a state where I feel like I can take breaks from it. It's a game designed to take breaks for sure, if you want. I finished up the last of the jump puzzles today, which was really exciting. So I'm looking forward to building more games in. Oblond, enjoy. Everything will be posted to YouTube. So if any of you need to take off, I know in many parts of the world it's very late. It's definitely late here.
Yeah, it's like 11 here.
I'm usually in bed about now.
I'm in bed like 2 hours prior to this, typically.
I'm usually asleep by now and in bed 10 or 10:30. I get up at like 5:30 in the morning. So, you want to, how much longer from now for the video to be posted? Well, I assume, Brian, after we film the video, you're going to take off, right?
Oh, after we after this does, I'm debating one of two things, right? I'm debating like ending the YouTube stream, sending people over to Twitch if they want to watch us film it live, but then essentially filming with you. But I do want to get some water in me, so it's not gonna be like, and all right, now we're filming. It's gonna be like, all right, guys, we're gonna raid Twitch, bada bing, bada boom, and then film, and then literally I'm gonna edit and I'm gonna post. So it should be, depending on how long we talk in the summary, which should be shorter than the 2 hours, but in our typical 22-minute later fashion, like we'll try to get it all there for you guys so you can have access to it either as soon as possible or when you wake up.
All right, so Yoshpi just went on to say, continuing on about like how it felt longer, that it was helpful that they got a lot of the models already provided by the Nier team. They did have to make adjustments, but without that, they really didn't want to disappoint Nier fans, and so that saved them a fair bit of time, I assume. But as a different topic, Yoko said that when he entered, when he entered and saw Morble, I assume in the beaver costume, I thought working is really a difficult concept and making money is hard. I think he's talking about the beaver.
This image will forever stay on the internet.
Yes. I mean, last time he was dressed as a sin eater, kind of.
Yeah.
Didn't really look like a sin eater. It was like a sin eater from like a community theater opera. So you're like, wait, what is happening? What is happening? I don't know where the beaver came from. Ridiculous. When are we getting a beaver suit? Now they've opened up that can of worms. Where's our beaver suit? Come on, 14.
Oh, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining as a member, and in Scotland, nonetheless. And it's 5 in the morning there in Scotland. Wow.
You still wonder if you do New Game Plus on Nier stuff, do you get anything different? Oh, that would be interesting. I don't know that New Game Plus is set up for that. Yoko says, are we good on time? Yoshipi said, don't worry, we have 14 hours.
2 or 3 more questions.
He said, okay, then 2 to 3 more questions.
And Aaron representing the East Coast. Yeah, I 100% agree. If New Game Plus gave different experience, I would find a lot more value in it. It doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be a lot. It's how I would be leveling a melee. It's how I'd be leveling a melee because it's jobs I've never done, and it'd be a great chance to go through and experience the game again.
Put yourself in a 25-minute queue and just, all right, question time. You're not going to be gaining crazy amounts of experience from it, but you're still. I mean, heck, I even said like 20% of what you normally get, or hell, like I'd take 1%. Just something like, hey, there you go. So it's not like the method that you are. Oh, you want to, after you beat the game, go beat the story again. No. But it's like, oh, if I want to play the story again, great. Here's a little something for you.
Okay, here's the question. During the tower at Paradigm's Breach, the final chapter of the Nier Raid series, I struggle with that death zone during the Red Girl fight. I got used to it, but please tell me why you put it there. They don't want it to be the way that people level. They have so many other ways to level. I can level with Wondrous Tales. I can level with Beast Tribes. I can level with... Right? Like, I can level with PvP. So, I can level with Palace of the Dead. So, I don't know why they would not, and I level my primary character through MSQ. I don't know why they wouldn't want me leveling more through it.
Reaper is going to use the same armor as Dragoon, so those are going to be the shared melee gear set, obviously outside the weapon.
They said the
guys.
death zone in Paradigm's Breach was because it was too easy if you could move through the middle. So they think it was the right difficulty compared to the other Alliance raids, was what Yoshi P said. And Yoko said, what? I thought it was crazy difficult. Yeah, I agree, Fido. Is like, especially as somebody who didn't take the 14 lore serious enough the first time around. As a non-lore guy, I know a surprising amount of WoW lore, and that's because every time you level an alt, it kind of just you just pick up a little more every single time. And so it just kind of slowly invites you to explore that, especially for a game that has really opaque lore. The fact that they have alts is a neat way, and New Game Plus would offer that as a play style within 14.
Mm-hmm. And guys, you guys hit 200 likes here. Thank you so much. Oh my god!
So Yoshi P said the version that that Yoko played was more difficult than what got released. And Yoko said, yeah, I think I got rezzed before I even died. And they said, no, he got rezzed and then instantly died again. And he said, I remember Yoko-san asking me, I'm dying everywhere. What do you even want me to be checking? Oh, I can't give feedback on this. Oh, that's funny. He said he's still disappointed that his original idea of hitting an orb on the way would wipe the whole raid. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? So the fact that they said the version you played was more difficult than what we released tells me they could release more difficult versions.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Did you see a topic on World of Warcraft where a World of Warcraft fan was bashing 14, saying that WoW is harder, meaning that 14 is easy? Did they try both? Like at any point in their history?
Was this on Reddit or on the
like if you've never played any version, right? If you played TBC and now you play 14, that is a more valid viewpoint than somebody who's just never literally logged in. So if you've just never literally even made it to level cap, then it doesn't matter.
That's actually one of the interesting points that Asmund kind of brought up when he's like, look, like, oh, add-ons. It's like how actually easy it is to go from computer to computer and just play 14, because it's like, you know, WoW can be so specific with add-ins and configurations and all of that it just kind of takes out that step. But it's something that he had to get used to right away. And that, you know, because it's like, oh, you know, he's been training for years on, here's the add-ons, here's the configuration, here's this.
I think 14 players do the same thing in reverse. They assume that the add-ons that they see on a WoW player's screen is doing the fight for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have never played WoW at max level with add-ons, then you don't know that it's not that simple. It's not you install add-ons and you have success.
Right.
There's a reason that the world first raids are still sometimes having 150 wipes on a new boss. Like it's these are the best players in the world with any add-on they want, and it doesn't just fall over.
They I don't believe we saw the Soul Stones for the Reaper and the Sage yet, but they did do the benchmark hasty, and once this concludes, we're gonna put out a summary and kind of, you know, go over the benchmark and things like that. So if we see it in there, you know, I didn't see it the first pass.
There's some mysteries left even after clearing the stories. Will those be clarified? They said, nope.
Enjoy the mystery.
Yoko said, we always make this content in a way that some mysteries remain unsolved. The difference is that Nier fans are used to it and 14 fans aren't. Yet.
Yet.
One thing you like about WoW is the weapon buffs. They did different things that made the weapon glow. So weapon glows in this game are reserved for things like relics or things like the ultimate. I think there is something special about a weapon glow meaning something special. In vanilla WoW, way back, there was something special about your weapon glowing. So I would want them to be careful not to cheapen that by having 67 million different glows. And then making them like cosmetic things that you can just apply literal illusions to. So, just saying, like, there are, yeah. So like they're saving them for very distinct things. You can't just make any weapon glow any way you want, as opposed to in WoW where you can apply weapon glows. So you have a ton more control over that, and it ends up making all weapons. I mean, I have alts that are leveling that look really freaking cool, and that kind of takes away from when you see somebody go by and you're like, whoa. We always make this talking about a poem that includes words that can't be said on stream or can't be typed in comments or their account might get banned. Okay. So they're talking about a poem that includes words that cannot be repeated by the translation. Delightful. So if you don't speak Japanese, you cannot hear what they're saying in this next part. Because they're not going to translate them. You think the glow effects are a bit much? What's nice is that they have control over it, right?
Yeah, so it's not everything.
Don't get me wrong, it's weird that I have a glowing relic weapon right now, and I equipped a hammer because I prefer that, and now I've had to give up my glow even though I've unlocked a glow.
Yeah.
So, once I got my relic to the point where it glowed, that became a weirder thing as opposed to as I upgraded my relic and it wasn't yet glowing. I was like, well, I'm just swapping an axe for a hammer. But as soon as it glowed and then I reapplied my hammer because I like my hammer, it did feel a little weird to give up that glow.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, yes, housing system changing. We'll talk about it all here.
The housing system is getting updated.
Yep.
And it at least on paper sounds better. Sounds like a positive direction.
It's hard to think of them announcing changes and it not being better. So
we decided to make it worse.
Step 1. Delete all housing.
We're going to randomly select a house, and we're just going to kick you out of it at random. It could happen to you. It might not happen.
You're not logged in to click the abort button. No, it'll be exciting. It'll be exciting. No, there's new stuff. Delete your house.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yep. Like, if you do not have maximum decorations on the inside, they're like, well, you're not using it. If you don't have all 200 displayed, we got to get rid of it. Use it or lose it.
Bring back Meteor. That's actually one spell I'd love to see the Black Mage get is Burst. So if you guys don't know, just from a Final Fantasy history, Black Mage had Burst back in 1.0, and it's an ancient magic in the lightning category. And then the ancient magic that we've kept so far is Freeze and Flare. And so I've always felt like it'd be great to see Burst make its way back into the game. And so we will see. The cool thing about the lotteries, Aaron, I love the fact that they take your money right then. So you got to have the means and meet the requirements. Then you can enter yourself into the lottery.
All right.
Spriggan, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, I guess they got rid of break. We had that, but then they consolidated
The thing
skills.
about comparing difficulty in the games is we're trying to say like the word extreme or the word savage is a unique, like singular difficulty, and they're not. Not all extremes get cleared as quick or by as broad of a population as easily.
Mm-hmm.
Not all savages do as well. I mean, even within a tier, 9 versus 12 is two very different experiences for people that are like when you watch people prog it, it's very different. Like
Yeah.
I've seen some sloppy first pull of the night 9 clears, and 12 just I don't tend to see it get pulled that sloppy and still get a clear. And when you talk about Mythic, you see some of these world first guilds just blast some of these early bosses down. They just fall over. And you're just like, oh, well, that didn't take long. I went to go get a drink and I came back and they got their clear. But then there are other later bosses where that just isn't the case. And so when we sit here and we say, like, well, I watched this one 10-minute video this one time, and now I'm ready to sum up an entire combat system. They change from tier to tier, expansion to expansion. So we can talk about what they're designed to be, what their intent is, who they're designed to be cleared by, and what they're intended to kind of represent to the community as far as progression. But it's really hard when somebody who has never played one game and has a heavy rating experience in the other to come in and say, like, hey, translate this perfectly for me. The moment anybody tries, there's always somebody else that's like, well, that's not how I would put it. Because it's not ever perfect. These two games are more similar to each other than any other MMO on the market to either one of them. And yet it's not apples to apples. And if it is, it's at least two very different apples. Green apple and a red delicious. Pie apples versus eaten apples.
You like the green apples, Granny Smiths or whatever.
I do like a good Granny Smith.
Yeah, I like more of the the new designer apples, the Fuji's and the Pink Ladies and like all those.
Yeah,
Those are great. But yeah, I remember.
I mean, I'm not a
back in the
huge
store,
apple fan. Like I really want to cut it into little slices and put peanut butter all over it.
Ugh. Ugh, I hate peanut butter with a passion.
That's good. If you see the amount of peanut butter I can consume, I wasn't looking to share.
Julie tries to occasionally sneakily eat peanut butter and then try to
I can eat a lot of peanut butter,
and it's like, oh god.
I can eat a lot of peanut butter.
But
when they only have the little ones available, like at the grocery store, because over the last year, grocery stores aren't always fully stocked. My wife gets one, and she's like, "I know, I'll go back next week and get a bigger one." Because it's like I can just eat the whole thing.
You want ice
so they're still talking about that poem. They in the translation they gave who it's by if you want to look it up, but they will not translate it for us. So you're going to need to go look it up because they said that if they translate it in the Discord, they're worried that the Discord account could get banned.
Translate what again? Sorry?
What?
I missed why they would get in trouble if it's a poem? Got it.
Yeah, the poem has words that cannot be said in stream or in comments on things like Discords. They don't want to cross a line.
Dude, apple butter though? Oh to the yes. Oh to the freak yes. Almond butter? Absolutely love it. Peanut butter? Hell to the no.
They said it has some trigger words in it if you look it up. So just be aware.
And then Chili's like, you hate peanut butter?
Especially for people that work from home. If you're on a work computer and you work for a company that's very sensitive about that sort of thing, maybe search it from another computer. So I just linked the name in chat. I don't know what the poem is. But they're talking about it right now.
Cookie butter, man. Julie got me some of that for Christmas. And oh my gosh.
We're obviously not going to look it up on stream.
Yeah.
Like if the live translation doesn't feel comfortable in their own private Discord for doing it, there is no way we're going to do it.
This is the day that Work to Game gets canceled.
Not a chance. So.
It's scroll up, Shadow, if you didn't see it. Okay, cool. Thanks. You got it, Chris.
It was still copied. I assume that person's written more than one poem, so.
This was their one and only poem.
I don't know what they mean by trigger word. There is a wide range of what triggers. So when you say everything triggers, there are, if they don't feel comfortable saying this.
We could say, it's probably better to say, it feels like.
I'm just saying, there are words that legitimately shouldn't be said. Okay, here's the disclaimer. Although long, and even most Japanese don't really understand what this was about, it does have a controversial nature that cannot be broadcasted publicly, at least not on this stream. While we don't understand what Yoko Taro is actually referring to due to the vague and understandably not suitable for broadcast nature, it seems as if the poem touches on women and death and is somehow very sexist about that. Therefore, as they mentioned, you may look up the poem and do some research, but be warned to be careful. So, yeah, it's possible that it also could translate to something very different culturally. There are words in English that probably mean something very different than what their translated word might mean in Japanese, because a lot of times a word takes on a meaning because of how society uses it, not because its original its original definition. Yoko's saying, I'm applying for the scenario writer for Final Fantasy XIV.
How awesome would that be? And then you get Matsuno. Like, you just have Yoshi P build out like a whole new generation Final Fantasy Dream Team. So that'd be amazing.
Oh, they got a name for the poem here, guys. There you go. Go fill your search history with whatever it is you choose. I don't want anything to do with it. And Yoshi B said, sorry, we're already done with this scenario. He said that we are about to finish the recording for the English voice acting for 16. Wow, Yoko, way to bait that 16 news in.
Yay, 16.
That's like some of the most we've known about 16 right there.
We've been waiting for more.
Why'd you watch the Yoko interview? I was looking for some 16 leaks. And Yoko says it was our hidden mission to get the Final Fantasy 16 leak today.
People want to know, man. People
got him.
Know. If it doesn't come to PC day and date with PS5, I hope they come out with a PS5 special edition.
Oh,
that's all I'm saying.
Yoko Taro's whole goal: get those 16 leaks. This is why we don't leave. This is why we stay for these. These are these moments that we can't quite remember exactly when they were said, but we hold on to them in our head.
Yeah.
We go, remember when they said back in July that they were already done with scenario and recording the voice acting? I don't remember exactly how I know that, but I do. There is an English translation of the poem, but it doesn't make a reference to females at all. It is very safe, so you'll assume that the offensiveness must be in the original language. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Translation's everything. I mean, context is everything. What it means in a society and stuff. Something being of a sensitive nature means that, you know, it can take advantage of a group that maybe was poorly represented at the time it was written or something like that. It's hard to say. Yoshi said there will not be anything at TGS about 16. Whoa. I would have assumed they were saving something for that.
I guess 6, that just tells me that 16 is going to 2022. Which isn't bad, honestly, because if it was going to get delayed.
2023.
The way that they were
it could be
showing
spring of 23.
It's true.
I don't think it'll push to winter at 23, but okay. I assumed it would be at one of these. I don't know. The Tokyo Game Show made sense. I mean, these days they have like Square Enix has its own Treehouse events.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yoshi
still,
like, saying, I just said too much about 16 just now.
That's what we came for.
That's what we came for. Baited. Gutaro's like, I know what you have under NDA. I can get it all out of you. Are they going to sell us something now?
We're about to go into announcement corner.
Anytime they reach for something, I just assume they're selling us something.
We at the Near team don't have the money for a PV, so I brought a sketchbook.
That's funny. We announced we're working on a new game with Yoko-san and Okabe-san.
100% Billy. It's next year. They already launched a new site for 11's 20th anniversary. And the platform is not a smartphone. Oh, thank you. It's fine if it runs on a smartphone, but just don't put it only on a smartphone.
Said, yeah, it's a flip phone. He's such a troll.
Yeah.
He's such a troll. Your phone won't even have to be smart. So today's news is that our new game is not for a smartphone. That's awesome. That's it. That's their big reveal.
Mm-hmm.
And Yoshi says, wait. So I leaked more about 16 than you guys are going to say about your game?
The 66th letter from the producer live, 67th. They announcing this? Scheduled for mid-September, which makes sense because the mid-September is the media tour. Showcasing battle-related updates alongside the media tour. That ding.
That's exactly how they did it last time.
67, scheduled for early November, revealing additional information before early access begins.
Yep. Probably beginning of it, 2 weeks before. So comes out on the 19th, so 2 weeks back, 14 days. So let's store that as the 5th ballpark, right? First week of November.
Yep.
So one in mid-September. That'll be when the media tour stuff lifts. Good. We won't have to sit on it till October. Well, whoever gets invited. Gosh, I hope we do. I feel like last time we learned so much about how we wish we could do even more with that access. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
We'd love to get love to get another swing at it.
Wish us luck.
Especially now that I'm full time. Like, game on. Cool.
Yeah, that's coming. That's going to be part of that mid September. So the media tour is also going to be remote, so that might have some good opportunity. You know, who knows? Like depending on how they open up the connection, because I doubt they're going to just send out the client.
Yep.
How I'd run it would be like, all right, guys, you got to have good internet because you're going to connect to our servers and stream the game and play it.
I turned our cameras off for a minute just so you guys can read that.
Thanks, Crown Cake. Thanks for also subscribing, dude. Welcome to the Soul Nation.
Cool.
All the new Marvel movies coming out. I'm ready to go back to the theater.
The phones were still common in Japan until a few years ago, so maybe it's not that much of a joke. It sounds like a joke here. It sounds like something that like Blizzard would come out to make it okay. We're not even limiting it to smartphones. It'll run on all phones. Mm-hmm. Oh, come on, man. Come on.
It will run on your smartphone.
I believe last time we could confirm. How did it work, Brian? So I believe last time, once we were at the media tour, we were allowed to tell our audience that we went. And then yes. I believe that the embargo date.
We weren't able
to get revealed by Square?
Yeah.
So we couldn't say the date. We just had to say, we've been invited. We're looking forward to sharing it with you. I think they even gave us like a template statement that we could just repeat as a canned response. Because at the time, Spofi was still going live every day. So she went live from a hotel lobby down the street.
Right.
We couldn't reveal where it was held. We couldn't reveal anything. I think all we could reveal is that we went.
Yeah.
So.
And if you guys are still here hanging out on YouTube, probably when this wraps, I'll drop the link to Twitch. It is pinned. So if you want to come hang out with us on Twitch, but also, if you haven't subscribed here to the channel here on YouTube, would love it if you hit subscribe. It's absolutely free to do so. So
the media tour last time, content creators actually got a fair bit of pushback at first because they said everybody's so positive. There was some accusations within the community that all content creators were just being shills because Stormblood had some frustration. Not everybody was 100% passionate about Stormblood. And so they're like, oh my gosh, you guys get invited and you're all just saying Shadowbringers is amazing. Way to be sellouts.
And then we talk about, and we
were
talk
like,
about, yeah.
No, it was just really freaking good.
Yeah, it was really freaking good, and you could feel it right away. But we also talked about that, and then people were like, work the game, hating on the game. It's all they do. It's like, if you don't watch our videos, I'm sure that's how you feel.
Yeah. So everybody was very positive because it felt good from day one. We got a chance to run around a couple of zones and play a little with all of the class changes, run a dungeon. Limited stuff. Like NPCs were stripped out of the zones. We got to show all the footage off that we took, but it's the biggest thing is the job action trailer. This changes. That's the biggest thing. And we didn't document it well enough to take part in that discussion to the degree that we could have. I mean, we showed what we could, and we put out like 17 or 18 videos, so it wasn't that we did nothing, but man, I think we'd be a lot better at it this time.
Yes. All right, what are they showing off here?
I think we've gotten a lot better in 2 years at putting out content and trying to communicate.
I don't know what these are.
I don't know. They're usually selling us stuff.
Like they look like upside down vases. Will this be in the game? Yoshi says no.
What are they?
They say their chat's telling me they're Dharma luck charms.
How big are those?
They look like they're like a little bit bigger than like a little smaller than a basketball, but bigger than your hands.
Huh. They're lanterns. Oh.
They look fascinating. Like I saw that, I'm like, what is this? Never seen anything like that before. Like Russian
Look how
nesting
old
doll.
school that keyboard looks.
Oh wow, yeah. Just give me a keyboard, any keyboard. Let's go.
What a boss to be walking around with a full paint marker. Usually this means we're starting to wrap up. Usually that's the end, is when they start offering us a chance to buy things.
Yeah, when they start selling more stuff.
It's a traditional Japanese doll.
A drama. So the translation is reflecting what my chat's saying, which also is like a luck charm.
Okay. Yuko says, why is everybody looking away? Cool. Can you buy the head? I don't think so. And like the little paint chips on there tell me that that's kind of the same head they've been bringing to all these presentations.
Yeah. Hey, Shadow. We'll also be posting the summary over on Work to Game. So if you do need to go to sleep, note that will be waiting for you tomorrow morning. So I'd love for you to watch that, even if you did hang out with us the whole time as well. It's up to you.
Prosperity. You draw one eye before you start. And the second one is thanks. Oh. I forgot that he's over there with beavers on his ears the whole time.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Okay. And they're going to show us some prices. What else? What else they got? Just the one thing? Aroma dolls for almost 120 years will be crafting. Cool. Japan only. Usually these are sold out before the event ends anyway.
Not surprised.
They sell out all sorts of things super fast. Those mugs or whatever were like $85 and they were sold out within like 2 hours. There's a ton of merch for this game. A ton. So it's not like, oh, I really want to buy merch for this game. I only have like 2 choices. No, no. What kind of merch do you want? And then buy that to support this game. There is a ton.
Cash Shop's not so much in your face, but
yes,
it
has
a wide range of stuff that you can definitely purchase. And honestly, I have no issue with that.
I get all these Y's mixed up. I mean, obviously I know Yoshida, but... Watches are 300 pounds and you're on the waiting list. I'm glad people get excited about it.
It's fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wear my Apple Watch, but I've never been a huge watch guy. What? Presenting the light and dark flavor. Okay. Are these for the... Are they going to be sold anywhere, or this just... No. Japan only.
Yeah, more Japan
Are these
only.
just at the... Oh, man. I bet those are real good.
I don't even know what they are.
It's like
Well,
a
they have
cream
some.
puff with light and dark. There's a fried chicken place in Japan. All right. I mean, it's fried, so like it's going to be good. It wouldn't matter if that was filled with white cardboard and black cardboard. Like, it's fried. Oh, he's already got one. Yeah, I wear an Apple Watch not because I suddenly liked watches, but because of other things that it does.
So fascinating. What I wonder. Them just showing me food is making me hungry. So I had a salad for dinner, and it's like, oh.
You can't focus, not on this. There it is. So that's like chicken in the bottom? What's at the top? What's the black stuff? I literally don't know what all this stuff is. Wrap it up, guys. Wrap it up. I don't want to miss anything.
Black is pepper flavor, white is tartar sauce.
White is tartar sauce. What? I'd try it. I'd try it.
Japan chicken.
There, when I lived in Spain, there's this dish, this traditional dish you can order where it's basically, it roughly translates to squid cooked in its own ink, kind of like duck confit, like duck in fat, and it's phenomenal. It'll dye your mouth black, like hard black, but it's phenomenal. Oh, so good. And it comes out looking like they charred it. It comes out in this like dish, this like big round dish, and it's meant to be shared. It's a big thing. And it's yeah, I mean it is just pitch black. Real good though. Biscotti, how are you? Biscotti. Was this your first live letter, Biscotti? Have you been hanging out doing the live letter?
Are you shouting out Biscotti? I love her streams. Like, it is so awesome.
I am. How far have you made it into 14 as of this point? How is your journey going? We are finishing up the live letter. We're about to actually sum it up. So for any of you that have missed part of it, as soon as it ends here, we'll do it. You were scared to be spoiled for Endwalker. Fair enough. We're gonna sum it up. We'll try to keep it pretty spoiler free. I would not watch the benchmark event since like you're progressing through the story anyway, and I think you're moving fast enough that you finished 5.0 and you did the first 8 Eden raids. Yeah, I would definitely not watch the benchmark until you feel you're done. You're so close. You've been flying through it. You know, somebody's just in ARR and they're not even sure if they're going to be ready. They're not going to be able to store enough information from it to spoil anything. But as somebody that's been flying through it, being incredibly thorough, I would hold off.
Oh, good. Thanks, Ace, for that. Going and following Biscotti.
So, you're zooming.
And Billy,
you're zooming.
Thanks so much for hitting that $1 member club, man. Appreciate the support.
What'd you think of the first 8 Eden fights? I think the 4th fight is Titan.
Titan, yeah.
Yep. I think that was my favorite of the first 8. I don't know why. I just thought a lot of the transitions were amazing. Mm-hmm. So I think E4N was my favorite to progress through. I mean, maybe in the whole series. I really liked it as a tank. I found a lot of those transitions and like the way you felt moving back, like that knockback gap close, like it just, the pacing felt so good. Yeah, Titan Cart. There's a lot of good ones in there though. So good. Minimum item level. That's amazing. I'm loving the number of new players that are coming in and saying, "Hey, I'm late, but let's do this more legit than probably the majority of the population did." Is a spoiler ask which endwalker job I'm going for when the endwalker so for Biscotti. So I know for me, there's no spoiler about knowing I'm going warrior all the way. All the way.
Cromcake over here saying Titan actually feels like the most interactive compared to the other early primals.
It did. It felt real good. There was a lot of movement, a lot of fun things. Cool. So.
Thank you, Monkey Gamer.
You knew I'd be going warrior. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And they showed all these beautiful new glams tonight. And there's all this incredible warrior glam. And it's like, wow, that's going to look so good on other people who aren't pigs. I will be a pig. I tank in a pig suit, and that's not changing. So I really just like the way warrior feels. So I'm excited that other people get to look good in their glams. Are they done eating chicken? Are we done? Are we wrapping up? This has gone way over time. They're almost 30 minutes over time. That's why it feels like it's dragging on, because it is. They are 30 minutes past when this section was supposed to end, which is probably going to cut into the amount of time they have set for breaks. They didn't get to take their earlier break, really either of them. So they've been kind of dipping in and out of breaks because they're behind.
All right, we are so close to hitting 5 more members. We can add the Sage emote, so no pressure. But thank you guys for the support. If that rolls in over the course of the next couple days, it easily looks like Sage is what it is. Go ahead.
What Aaron. Question? I never finished what question?
Sage for Luke is going to be more of a shield healer. I haven't seen these stickers.
Yeah, healers are getting a pretty big change.
Yeah, 100%.
They're getting a pretty big change. So they're gonna divvy up. Remember that when we went into Shadowbringers and we added Dancer, that Bard and Machinist felt like, they changed pretty substantially. Obviously, Machinist got a big thing, but so revealing the names of the jobs. No, I don't think the name is a spoiler. I think revealing what the name represents and how they're going to be introduced, because obviously every job gets introduced into the game to have meaning. Every job in the game has its own story and its own journey that starts with the jobs we get in ARR and continues through. So I think starting to talk about what Sage and what Reaper is and why we would just now be getting them, that starts to become really dangerous territory. But to just say the words, I don't know that it really means anything. To say that there's a DPS and a new healer, that doesn't mean anything on its own. Honestly, especially if you're not talking about where the content is, to a new player, for me, I don't really find words like primal dangerous, because primal's a word that I used before I ever played 14. Like that, right? There's these primal urges and things like that. Like that's a word that exists outside of 14. So what is unique within 14 is what that word means. And so if you go to redefine it, that's where you enter spoiler territory. All right, they did it. They wrapped up. Oh my gosh, they wrapped up, Brian. They actually did it. What type of animal suit would they have to release for me to consider pig suit behind? Well, you got to remember, I do a different suit for each of my jobs. So I've still got jobs that don't have suits yet. So pig is in no danger. It is in no danger.
So do we want to take a look and rewatch the benchmark before I raid you, or do we want to make that a part of our summary? Or do we want to make that its own video?
There's people in here that I know are spoiler sensitive, so I would rather watch that after we do the summary.
Okay.
Because I think we can talk about the summary remaining pretty spoiler respectful, and then the benchmark is when we can tell people, hey, go get a drink, because we're about to were about to freak out because
Yeah.
we yelled a little bit during the
Oh
first
my
one.
gosh, that was so
During the first
so
playthrough
good.
of it.
So what we'll do, guys, I've got the link for Twitch up in the chat right now, and if you want, we'd love to have you go raid. Basically, us, we'll be over here live summarizing it for you. I'm going to end this video because I don't think anybody was going to be like,
Brian's
I'll
live over
watch
on
3 hours to to that. Yes, I'm here on YouTube right now, and so guys, hit that link, go over to Twitch, or if you guys are like, oh, I'm going to stay over here on YouTube, I put a link for my epic video for New World, if you guys wouldn't mind going and checking that out. You don't have to watch it, but I would love it if you at least got it the watch time and the likes. That will help that video out dramatically, especially as we go into this hype season for New World itself. So I'm going to hit end stream over here on YouTube, guys. Thanks so much for the support, Aaron, and all the new members over here, and then also the super chats. You guys really make the work here that we put into the content so much easier by adding that support. So thank you guys. Y'all have a good night over here on YouTube, and I'll still be over here on Twitch. I'm just gonna get some water.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, Chris and I go